another episode.
Yo, welcome back to another Yappisode. Welcome back to the Daily Yap. It is your host, Jay, obviously. I hope everybody's having a great, what is today? Friday? This whole off on, I don't know about y'all, I had off today on a Friday, so it's kind of throwing me off and feel like it's Saturday. But hopefully everybody is doing well on this beautiful Friday. Happy 4th. Obviously, that is coming up around the corner tomorrow. I guess happy 250th, whatever is going on that I keep on seeing 24/7 up and down my feed. 250. I don't know, bro. I don't be keeping up with all that other stuff, but whatever they celebrating. I just thought it was just 4th of July. Apparently, it's some other thing going on as well with 250 years, America birthdays, something, bro. But I hope everybody is doing well. If you're on your way in, please hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, please hit the sub button. We on the road to 25 K, I believe. Let me just confirm that, because that was a huge jump in a small amount of days. That is correct. We're on the road to 25K. So I appreciate all the support along the way. Obviously, we had a huge turnout with the Candace, Owens, and Sean Ryan interview, because before that, we was around 22K, I believe. So that is bumped up an entire 2,000 subscribers. So if you are new, welcome. We are a safe community. Everybody in the Gap community could tell you that, could vouch for that, and could speak on that. We are a safe community. Welcome to the family. We talk about a lot over here. We share different perspectives, and we are also very respectful to all sides of the aisle, whether you are part of, ops, for us, against us. It doesn't really matter. We encourage all type of dialogue. We don't run anybody away off this channel. We've had plenty of people that came in and had completely different perspectives on a lot of different things. Obviously, this Charlie Kirk's investigation is a very hot topic and very sensitive topic. But with the Yap community, we encourage everybody, anybody and everybody to share their thoughts, opinions, perspectives on everything that's going on. I think it's very important that we keep an open mind. I think it's very important to share your own opinions, have your own opinions. And I don't know, it just helps everybody be better individuals. Don't ever follow anybody just because somebody, you know what I mean? Just have your own independent thinking process, thought process. That's what I try to encourage the most. And obviously we yap. So quick disclaimer, this channel is slightly different than maybe all the others. Okay. We yap over here. There's no organized thing that we go through throughout the whole show. We just yap, we vibe. A lot of random things come up. We talk about it. There's no time limit. If we feel like talking about something for an hour, we're going to talk about something for an hour. Okay, so please, this is a very light, enjoyable show where we can kind of just make a lot of crazy thing that's going on in the world that feels very heavy and negative. We try to be very positive over here, add some laughter to your life. So I appreciate y'all for joining the family. Let's see. Checking the comments before we get to everything, because I know once we get going, we get going. From Houston, what's going on? Really like Jay's way of reasoning, a practical brother. Okay. Jay's a great guy. I agree. I like his perspective and the way he treats people with respect. I appreciate it. I appreciate it, Elena. Thank you. Let's do it. Y'all seen the thumbnail? But that is definitely going to be one of the first things that we talk about, is Andrew Kolvet clearly upset about Candace Owens' interview with Sean Ryan. And I guess we could say we expected that. We saw that coming. 25K, let's go. I know, let's get it, man. We on 24.2. 2 days ago, we was at 21-ish, 22-ish. So we're getting somewhere. From Highlands in Scotland, thank you for watching. All the way from overseas. AK is a weirdo. Yes, he is. So yes, quick recap with Sean Ryan and Candace. It absolutely was an amazing. Oh, TikTok family. I'm sorry. TikTok family. Let me get them going real quick. There we go. I obviously on multiple platforms. A lot of people know me from TikTok and then YouTube space. We just got started on this in January and we just started doing Yappisodes in March. So fairly new to the YouTube space. A lot of more people follow the Yap community on TikTok. So I always try to bring the TikTok family inside just in case nobody feel like switching platforms and all that stuff. I cater, even if it's a little lazy because it don't take much to just get the YouTube app. I try to cater to everybody. You know what I mean? Just try to accommodate. But let's talk about this Candace Owens and Sean Ryan interview. Now that it's passed over, everybody was able to watch. Mostly everybody was able to watch all 4.5-ish hours. It was phenomenal. From start to finish, it was absolutely phenomenal. That is like something that we would never get from a lot of people, a lot of like political figures or public figures, which is a truly authentic 4-hour interview, non-edited, non-scripted. It felt like, because like who knows? I don't know Sean Ryan or Candace Owens, but to me, if everything felt genuine and everything sounded like it was the first time it being said, it wasn't like predetermined, pre-scripted, and all that other stuff. We will rarely get somebody to sit down for 4 hours and just have a conversation like Candace Owens. And I respect the hell out of Candace Owens for doing that because a lot of people are truly faking gay. That's her favorite slogan, but it's real. A lot of people are truly faking gay, and we won't really see anybody ever do a 4-hour interview where the interviewer or the host can ask a million questions and you just sit there and answer everything authentically. So she did absolutely amazing. The emotion throughout the entire thing was crazy. I felt like I could feel it through the screen. There was a part that we can definitely highlight that was so touching because Candace Owens, obviously, she's a strong woman. She tries to, I don't want to say she tries to put on like this tough girl persona because I feel like that's just kind of where she came from. You know what I mean? Middle child, so they already kind of bred different. And then on top of that, she's gone through a lot in her life. She's talked about it in that interview. So I feel like naturally she was designed to be more tough, not really emotional, got to thug it out. So her kind of podcast style is similar. She's very straight to it. Is not that much emotion. She has powerful words, but she rarely breaks down. I don't think I've ever seen Candace Owens cry on camera. You know what I mean? But there was a part in this Sean Ryan interview where what the heck is that? There was a part in this Sean Ryan interview where you can hear her voice kind of like cracking. She was holding back. She almost shed a tear, if we want to be completely honest. And it was very touching just because I truly have never seen Candace that close to getting emotional. So let me try to find it really quick because I didn't even plan. I just thought about that, to be honest. Here it is right here. And it was very touching. I'm not gonna lie, I definitely, like that feeling. I'm similar. I'm not really a crier at all. Like I don't know what it is, man. It's truly the way you were just born, and how you were brought up. I'm not really a crier. I didn't cry, not like bragging or nothing. I'm bringing up times that typically people cry. Like when my son was born, it was very emotional. I felt it. I'm crying on the inside, but I just physically, it just doesn't happen. You know what I mean? Funerals, it just, by the grace of God, I haven't really experienced close, like mom, dad, all that still alive, siblings. So nothing like that. But I've been to funerals where I've been around and seen my mama crying, seeing my mama's my uncle pass, both sides, sister, aunties, all that other stuff. So like I've been there. You know what I mean? I woke up in the morning when my auntie died when I was in elementary school, and I watched my mama and sister, completely break down before I was about to head to school. But you know what I mean? It's just, I don't know what it is. So I understand it. Wedding day, I mean, I got eloped, so I wouldn't say wedding day, but still stuff like that. I just didn't really cry. It's not in me. So that's why I always vibe with Candace, because she is somebody that I can for sure relate to. We are somewhat of the same. I feel like the boy version half the time. Like, her sarcasm is literally that's how my sarcasm is too. So I understood where she was coming from, and I felt this as well, because I felt this when she started going into it. So let me play it really quick to reference what I'm talking about. And you are 100% correct. Crying is it is okay. I would never shame anybody. I think the last time I ever cried, like, I will probably cry because of how pissed I am first, before it's like an emotional sad cry, because I've been extremely pissed in the past, where that has made me cry because I was just seeing red.
Charlie just really, really, really wanted love, right? That was like it. And it was almost like poetic, the stuff that he was writing about how love could kind of make men move mountains. And so for me to have to mourn him and then have to consider that the thing that he wanted most, like, he didn't get, it just gutted me. It gutted me. And so, but I couldn't deny it anymore. I couldn't deny it. And it was beyond intuition. It was beyond her being weird. It was beyond her being at the office. And then I got the Zoom calls. My assumption was that she was grieving like I was. And my assumption, I didn't know she was in the office the next week. As soon as she got back, she just went straight to the office. Charlie just really, really, really wanted love, right? That was like it. And it was almost like poetic, the stuff that he was writing about how.
But that was absolutely a very tough part to hear. And you can just feel the emotions through the screen. You can absolutely understand where she's coming from, especially because of everything that we know right now in this moment. Just knowing, like, truly what Charlie wanted, and how Charlie was just this lover boy that wanted it so bad. And we all know now, because of Candace, that he really wanted love. He saved himself for marriage. He only had one fling in his life that didn't even work out. So, hearing who Charlie was and hearing Candace kind of break it down, and understanding that, like, ultimately he died with his two kids probably loving him, absolutely the most, but his wife just being extremely shady through it all. That was very tough to hear. Very, very, very tough to hear. And also, Candace was one of probably the only person that ever went in depth on, like, who Charlie Kirk really was throughout these 4 hours. Nobody ever really has gone into detail, similar to how Vanessa Bryant did with Kobe, just like these stories that just make you smile, make you laugh, on who Charlie Kirk is, or who Charlie Kirk was, because it's something that we probably didn't know. And she's done that before on her podcast, where she has told these stories that just genuinely just make you laugh or smile. And you can just kind of see it in her face, how she's like reliving in that very moment as she's recreating that picture and describing it to us. And you can kind of see it as she's describing it and talking about it. But it was happening all throughout this interview. I was like, bro, they want us to hate Candace so bad, right? They're pushing this narrative for everybody to hate Candace. Yet she is the only one that is telling us who Charlie Kirk really was. How are we the bad people for that? Nobody else is going into these stories of who Charlie Kirk was, and all these deep stories that we just don't know behind the scenes, and behind, like, we just don't know. Yes, somebody's gonna probably say, oh, Andrew Kolvet did it before, Mikey McCoy did it before. It don't feel real. It seems very phony. I don't feel nothing when they speak. There's no substance. I feel like you BSing me, because it's different. It's just totally different because they've tried. I'm not gonna sit here and say they have never done it before, but it's just not the same. It's not the same, and it doesn't feel genuine because even Andrew Kolvet before he said like something Charlie stood for, right? Let's just say Thomas Massey, for example. Charlie would stand for something like Thomas Massey publicly, a million videos about it. And then next thing you know, Andrew Kolvet comes out of nowhere. And the story he wants to give us as a Charlie memory is, oh, what y'all didn't know is behind closed doors, Charlie didn't really like Thomas Massey. That's what we get from Charlie's close friends. It's some story beyond the dead that we just can't verify or prove. And he just brings up some BS that Charlie said behind closed doors, but he never said it to anybody else. And like, that's why you just can't listen to anybody at TPUSA. You can't listen to his wife, Mikey McCoy, Andrew Kolvet, Blake Neff. None of them seem genuine when they talk about Charlie and who he was. Candace is the one and only person who has ever done that, where you genuinely can sit there and say, dang, bro, like Charlie sounds like a really good guy. Or these memories that she has is like so beautiful and you can kind of picture it in your head and all that other stuff. So this is a phenomenal interview. If anybody hasn't watched it yet, please go watch it. It is now publicly available for everybody on YouTube, on Sean Ryan's YouTube channel. It is still up on my channel. It's still up on this channel right here. I am, I don't know. It makes me nervous a little bit just because, pages like that with the copyright and all that other stuff. But, some channels really don't care. Sean Ryan has been somebody that doesn't really care because it's almost like, shoot, you pay for the Patreon account. So like do whatever you want with it. So it's up on my page too if you want to watch it that way. We do have a little bit of commentary, but for the most part, we let it play all the way through. Because I don't know. I might make it go private in a couple of days just to save my mental about it. But definitely go watch it. Candace did absolutely phenomenal. And then obviously with this interview came a lot of reactions. And one of them being the most important reaction is Andrew Kolvet. Andrew Kolvet came out of nowhere, completely rejecting some of the things Candace talked about in his Sean Ryan interview. So I want to get into that because he actually acknowledges a few things that we have not heard him acknowledge before, which is interesting because of the timing of everything. We've been wanting him to acknowledge this for months. Never has. And he reads, he's on Twitter. If anybody ever tells you like these people are too busy to look at X and all this other stuff, they're lying to you. These folks be on X. So he knows exactly what the public is looking for and what we're questioning, all of that stuff. I have made tweets in the past and Andrew Kolvet has responded in the matter of 20 minutes. Me, I am nowhere near anybody in that space, right? I am solely like just a yapper. I use X as like my personal diary. I guess it's not a personal diary, kind of like a public diary. I just say whatever that comes to my mind. I'm not looking to be liked by anybody or none of that. I just see something, I tweet it, I go about my day. So like, I forgot what I said. And Andrew Kolvet responded in like 20 minutes. Tyler Boyer too. Tyler Boyer responded to one of my tweets. And same amount of time. It was like 20, 30 minutes. Tweet didn't even have that many likes yet. They be watching. And also on this YouTube channel, I noticed, right? Y'all, I haven't seen too many bots lately, but there have been a couple of usernames that act very strange. And they be watching. And obviously they have their watchdogs as well. Your Garys, your Lisas, especially Lisa. I think Lisa's assigned to me. They be watching and they be reporting back to, their bosses and stuff like that. So Andrew Kolvet obviously is a huge Candace fan because he watches all of her content. And so I want to show maybe a little clip of what Candace said. Maybe not, because a lot of us already watched the interview. So I don't want to replay the Sean Ryan and Candace interview again. But basically right here on this tweet, Sean Ryan quoted one of the, I think it's part of the trailer, where Candace is talking about how Andrew Kolvet told her that it was supposed to be you. If y'all recall, Candace talked about how like she called Andrew Kolvet or something like that early on, like 9-10, when everything went down. Andrew Kolvet said something along the lines of it was supposed to be her, and her and Tucker Carlson are on some type of list, and whatever. And then she also talked about, you know, the rumor, whatever it is, of, you know, the friends of Izzy, I'm trying to be careful, but the friends of Izzy, you know, offered Turning Point USA a lump sum of money to take it to the next level. That is things that she mentioned. Now, Andrew Kolvet is responding to that. And this is what he said. And it was very interesting because he has never responded to any of this stuff until now. He says, quite literally, all of this is BS. Let's address one claim at a time. I wish he would do this for absolutely everything, but, you know, whatever. Netanyahu did not offer TPUSA millions. It's literally just an internet rumor popularized by Crank Max Blumenthal. Even if Netanyahu had offered Charlie, even if Netanyahu had offered, Charlie would not and could not have accepted, because TPUSA cannot accept foreign money. Even if Netanyahu had done so, which again, he did not, and CK could accept, he could not, and had CK asked my opinion, he did not, I would have told him to turn it down. Bro, if he didn't accept it, if the offer never existed, why are we going into these back and forth hypotheticals? That was like the weirdest thing ever. Even if Netanyahu had done so, which he didn't, and CK could accept, but he could not. Like, now I feel like you're overly explaining yourself, bro. You're doing way too much right here. I got you the first time, but now you're giving me hypotheticals for each scenario, and it's just kind of weird. But whatever. I digress. He then says, I did not lose millions when CK turned down said money that was never offered and he couldn't accept. Again, we heard you 3 paragraphs ago, because on top of everything, I don't make money. I don't make any money off donations. I have exactly zero to do with fundraising. In fact, it was one of my stipulations I made to Charlie years ago when we started working together. Nothing against it. It's just not my thing. I never told Candace any of this because it didn't happen. I never told any family members any of this either, because again, it never happened. If Izzy offered us money, prove it. Show the proof. You won't be able to, because it's a lie and always has been. Well, if anybody was able, you know, Candace is totally different. She's super tied in with TPUSA, so she could very well have the proof. But as far as us regular folks, if anybody had the proof and we could just Google it, like, that would be, the story's over. So I hate when everybody, like even regular people, be like, show the proof that Erica is involved with, you know, this, that, and the third, show the proof of this. And it's like, well, or even if you say like the FBI, right, it's a cover up, and people like Lisa, that's like, show the proof. It's like, why would that be public available information? Why would that be publicly available to us? So I can show you a document of the feds actively being involved in the cover up. That would be crazy. That, like, I don't know. So Andrew saying that, one, he's probably playing with fire because Candace is literally tied to TPUSA still. So she could very well have the proof. Secondly, the money would not directly come from Izzy. I don't know if he understands that we're not stupid. The money wouldn't directly come from Izzy. It wouldn't be Bibi Netanyahu wiring over millions of dollars from the Izzy account to TPUSA account. It wouldn't work like that whatsoever. You funnel money, you embezzle money, and they literally actively do it right now. And that's the craziest part with the gaslighting and stuff. It's just like, why are y'all acting like we don't know that y'all embezzle money every day in many illegal ways? You think every nonprofit has 8 entities under the umbrella? Like we all know that y'all do fraudulent things. We're not stupid. So no, we don't believe Izzy would just wire you money. And then yes, exactly. BB offered verbally, not in writing. So that's a whole nother thing, because nobody ever said that it's documented. That would be probably it will probably be very illegal if it was documented that Bibi Netanyahu put on paper, Charlie Kirk, here you go. Here's illegal money that I'm like, why would you? It's so crazy. Lastly, we talked about the last Yappisode, maybe 2 or 3 Yappisodes, because I think I'm counting the Candace, Owens, and Sean Ryan interview. But the one where we talked about Anna Escobar's work, and she discovered that some of the Google trends that were linked to the Charlie Kirk investigation, that was, these Google trends that Barron found a long time ago, where people out in the Middle East was researching who Tyler Robinson was, the Timpanogos Hospital, however you pronounce the hospital, different characters throughout this story. She discovered that one of the locations that was involved in these Google trends and out in Cyprus, which is out in the Middle East, the Adelson family's plane was there. Every time the Google trend hit for one of the characters or something relevant in the Charlie Kirk investigation, the Adelson family plane was in Cyprus. So we put 2 and 2 together, right? We know that the Adelson family offered Trump, right? If we are believing what Candace is saying, which she hasn't lied yet when it comes to these stories, but she said that the Adelson family offered Trump a couple $100 million to like annex the West Bank or something like that. Trump said in front of Charlie Kirk and Andrew Kolvet that I'm going to take her money and F her over. Boom. Butler, Pennsylvania happens a couple weeks later. So if we are going to tie these things together, which it seems like it's a pretty easy trend to follow. It seems like everybody knows each other in this Charlie Kirk situation and investigation. It's all tied together. So I think we can kind of put 2 and 2 together and say, hey, maybe the Adelson family is also connected to the assassination of Charlie Kirk. If we're talking about a lot of money being behind it, it's a possibility, right? So if we're going to go with that possibility, then we have to also understand that the Adelson family, they're not living in Izzy. These are Americans. She is an American. She lives in Vegas. Oh, Turning Point USA just opened up an office in Vegas. So again, these things are tied together. This is not foreign money. This is the Adelson family, who is American, and she has a lot of money that you could take from her. So it's we already figured this whole thing out, but Andrew Kolvet continues to try to gaslight, try to pretend like we don't know. And I mean, it's all part of the psychological operation, obviously. So I feel like he knows, as he's typing up this BS, he knows that it's BS. He knows that. And he's not going to come with an explanation after this and all that other stuff. And if you didn't realize, in this tweet that he put out, not one time did he deny saying that it was supposed to be Candace. He didn't say that one time. He talked about, he denied the money. That's the only thing he talked about in this whole thing. We didn't take the money. But if we did offer the money, but if Izzy did offer the money, we couldn't take it. And if Charlie could take it, he wouldn't take it. It's this whole thing going back and forth. But all he talked about was the money in his whole paragraph. But not once did he acknowledge the part where Candace told Sean Ryan that Andrew Kolvet told her it was supposed to be you. He didn't say that at all. So now, due to you avoiding different conversations, Andrew Kolvet, it leads me to believe that you put this out in obligation to make certain people happy. Because if you really wanted to debunk everything, you would debunk everything. But you didn't. You chose to leave out the part where I think is, I would say, probably the most important. Right? We're talking about Charlie Kirk is dead now. And you told Candace Owens it was supposed to be you. That's crazy. Versus people out in the Middle East, right? Our foreign friends offering TPUSA money. Which conversation holds more weight that you should probably come out and debunk? Probably saying Candace Owens, you were supposed to be next. That's a crazy thing to say. But he didn't acknowledge that whatsoever. So I'm assuming that's true. He did tell Candace that she was supposed to be next because he didn't acknowledge it at all. And now, like I said, I'm led to believe that the only reason he came out with this is to get ahead of, all of the, I guess, things in the background they got going on at TPUSA of the donors and all the other stuff. Because I believe outside of Candace's own platform, her talking about everything on Sean Ryan was probably the first time. Yeah, it's probably the first time she's ever hit somebody else's platform that has that much of a following this entire time since September. I'm really trying to think. Obviously her platform is 6 million subs, and you got that whole space. But if we're talking about an outsider that doesn't comment on any of this stuff for real, I think Sean Ryan is the first person. I can't really think of anybody else. So now, and it's good. I'm glad that she did this because now it's reaching even more audience. I mean, Sean Ryan, he's like part of the boomers. You know what I mean? Like he got the old folks watching him. So with Candace going on Sean Ryan, it's reaching more and more people. You'd be amazed how many people don't like, even though we feel like this circle that we live in is huge with this Charlie Kirk investigation. It's really not. I guarantee you, every single person listening, you personally are probably the one person in your entire family that follows this entire story through and through. Do you probably have 1 million people in your family? Not 1 million, but you probably have everybody in your family that just doesn't care about any of this, has no idea what's going on. Someone probably asks you a question or two, and you're literally like, I had my pops tell me that one time. My pop was like, "Did you see that boy, Tyler Robinson? He's got his court date coming up or whatever." And I was like, yeah, but he ain't pulled the trigger. He was like, "What? What you mean?" I was like, "Oh my gosh. You like, how late are you, bro?" Like it's been September since we figured that out. And he just doesn't know, you know what I mean? Like it's because it's not on mainstream news, and that's where they get their information from. We are a part of a different generation. So we have all of these platforms, right? We have all of these different TikTok, YouTube, X, whatever else. Oh my gosh. Rumble, like there's so many things. And then on top of that, we have our podcasters. We get our information from absolutely everybody. The boomers and up, even probably a little bit under the boomers, but a lot of them get their information straight from the mainstream media. So if the mainstream media is not talking about the things that's going on in the Charlie Kirk investigation, they have no idea. And if y'all couldn't tell, if y'all haven't been able to tell, the mainstream media is not talking about anything involving the Tyler Robinson case, the Charlie Kirk investigation, outside of the original Fed slop narrative. So the space that we're in that feels so big is actually so small. And sometimes it can be very discouraging because it feels like nobody's doing anything about this thing when, for example, Candace dropped the SUV pictures the other day. And there's been way more, to be honest, even bigger things that have dropped about the Charlie Kirk investigation. And the feds, not one time have the feds ever been interested. I thought about that the other day when I was watching somebody on X was going in on the new SUV photos. Like it was finding they, they got the VIN number and then they searched up the history and then they did this, that, and the third. And I literally was just sitting back and I was like, so the feds are just watching, like they're just y'all realize they're just laughing, right? They're just sitting back watching everybody want to be an investigator and try to figure this thing out. And they're like, bro, it don't matter what you bring up, we don't care. And that's not at all to discourage anybody from continuing to do so. If you feel like you are an investigator, like, bro, please keep doing that. But I just thought about it from like thinking about the outside looking in or like the bigger picture. I'm literally like, bro, are the feds seriously watching everybody pull up the history on this SUV that Charlie was transported in? And the feds are just watching everybody find this and find that. And the feds are watching the roll mic theory take off. To be honest, I don't even think they're watching it. They just don't care. They've moved on. But it's just insane. It's insane. You forgot that that not everyone watches Candace. I know, right? It's sometimes you have to remind yourself that we are in a very small circle. It feels big, but it's really not. I can go anywhere, and I guarantee you, the entire place that I'm at doesn't watch Candace. And I'm like, dang, bro. So like, what about all of us? Are we all just scattered across the world where everywhere we go, it's only us in a room full of 20 to 30 to 40 to 50 people, and not a single person in there I can talk to about Candace? I went to a wedding the other week, and it was 100+ people, and I literally was like, not a single one of y'all probably watch Candace Owens, bro. Not a single one of y'all. And it's crazy. I have been since September, I probably came across maybe 3 to 4 people that like I've been somewhere, like they was like, oh, you Jay, like from TikTok. I'm like, yeah. And then like they'll literally bring up something about Candace, and I'm like, wow, like this is new. Okay. And it's literally only been about 3 times since September. It does not happen. It really does not happen. But I don't think Candace has replied or responded to Andrew Kolvet yet, because obviously she is on like summer vacation or something. So I don't know if she's been active on X. I'm curious to see what her response will be, because this is the first time Andrew Kolvet has ever commented on Candace Owens' accusation that he told her about taking Turning Point USA to the next level, and she was next and all that stuff. He's never done it before. So the timing is weird. Don't know why it took Sean Ryan's interview to finally come out and address some things, but he still didn't deny a few things. I'm just checking Candace Owens's. Why do I keep saying that? Candace Owens X right quick to see if she responded. No, I don't see nothing yet. Nope. No, she did. Yeah, she did. Okay, here we go. She's just asking some questions, but just so everybody can see. All right, so Candace Owens did reply on July 1st, and she said, which part, let me see, is it clear? Yeah. Which part of this specifically are you saying is false, Andrew? Do not wiggle out of this one, because I am 1,000, what is that, 100,000. I am 100,000% sure or certain Erica was on the phone when you spoke to Dr. Trotter. It was a 3-way call. The surgeon did not go rogue. The quotation about Charlie being a man of steel and eating healthy came from her. So what specifically are you claiming is false? My best guess with the way you lie is you're going on some technicality, like we didn't step out of the funeral, although it was on his funeral day. Get specific, Andrew. That definitely sounds like something Andrew has done that in the past, where it's like, oh, you're wrong about this detail about where I took a phone call. I did take one, but it wasn't at the place that you accused me to be at. Are you saying, what did you say? Okay? Are you saying Justin Strife didn't call my husband? Are you saying the FBI wasn't in communication with TPUSA asking if I had recorded it? I have proof of both. So get specific. I'm terrible with words. Y'all will find that out very soon. Malignant liar. Which piece of this are you describing as absolute lies? So that was Candace Owens' response. I think that's very valid just because he didn't really address anything outside of taking TPUSA to the next level. He didn't really address any of the other things. It was a 4.5-hour interview. And the one thing he chose to defend is that Izzy is not giving TPUSA money. I'm like, okay, Andrew, thanks for telling us that. Do I think it was the exploding mic? That is the most logical explanation of what happened to Charlie at the moment. I'm open to other things, but at the moment, it makes the most sense. I have watched the Leah Files a million times. Super friend of the show. Supposed to get Leah on very soon. Very busy lady. She's gonna be extremely big soon. She's gonna grow up and get all Hollywood and forget about me. But she did the follow the money already with the exploding mic thing. So she's already done all of that, and it makes complete sense. And it's hilarious when she talks about it because she's like, this is not a rumor. Like, there's no rumors with following the money. Following the money is following the money. This is exactly what it is. Exactly what it says is what it is. What it sounds like is what it is. So her whole thing on following the money on the exploding mic is crazy. Then on top of that, everything that we know now, and what we have learned about the exploding mic and everything that what we are looking at, it all makes sense. What helped me out as well, that I think in Candace's interview with Sean Ryan, is that she said the inside of the mic was on the inside of his shirt and the magnet part was on the outside. And that was my only concern, because I was like, I don't really know how the mic shattered if it was on the outside of his shirt, because you can see the mic on the outside of his shirt once he gets popped, and it doesn't really shatter. It stays there the whole time. But Candace said in the Sean Ryan interview that the mic itself was on the inside. And in anybody, I feel like that's been into audio or does podcasting or use a mic, you would never put it on the inside of your shirt because there's gonna be so much going on. You know what I mean? Unless he was like playing sports. Like, I've been mic'd up playing basketball. That's totally different. You don't want to have it on the outside. Sometimes you want to be a little sneaky. But having it on the inside of his shirt in a setting like Charlie Kirk was very weird, very odd. So when Candace revealed that, I was like, oh, that's a huge clue. Like, that's a huge note and detail that the mic itself is on the inside, because that means it definitely could have exploded. Then obviously in a car that is, to me, it seemed like clear as day, tempered glass on the ground. So I think that's what it is and what it was. Why the feds don't care, why nobody don't care, is beyond, like, I don't even know. It's so crazy, the game that they're playing. Candace talked about that as well. She was talking about how Don Jr. and all these people that were supposed to be Charlie's closest friends have not said a word. She talked about how Don Jr. was, he's an extreme hunter, and he has never once talked about Charlie Kirk ever since he died. And it's just sad, bro. It's sad because this man, bro, he loves so many people and he looked up to so many people. It's like one of those people, bro, that you like used to see in high school that would just like follow the crowd and just really do whatever they can to fit in. And I'm not like, this is no disrespect at all, But that's how I feel like when I look at Charlie and when I listen to his content of, obviously before he died and everybody that he used to gas up. And it's like he really wanted to be seen and heard in that space. And he really wanted to be seen by Donald Trump. He really wanted to be in that like circle. He wanted to be a part of the elites. His wife is, which I don't think he knew, but he wanted to be so bad. So when you got like all of these people around him that he always gassed up, that he always spoke highly of, and then watched them say, like, now watching all of those people say absolutely nothing is bizarre. But somehow what we do get is these random people like Mikey McCoy, the amazing Mikey McCoy, who walked away as soon as the big bang happened with Charlie. He was so brave, and they told us he called Erica first because he was trained to do so. But then we found out that he called his wife. And that is one thing that I think Candace is making a little play on for Mikey McCoy. I just refuse to believe that Candace really thinks that this dude is a good guy. I'm not buying that whatsoever. This dude is just as evil as the rest of them. He's just as guilty as the rest of them. That's not a regular reaction that Mikey McCoy did. You don't get popped, or you don't see your friend get popped. He didn't even see that. He heard it and walked away. He didn't even see that. He didn't even see Charlie fall. Well, I wouldn't even say fall. Dan Flood pushed him over, pushed him out the chair. But he didn't even see any of that. As soon as the pop happened, Mike McCoy was gone. How you know that how you know the shots went, or whatever it was, shot? How you know the shots weren't coming from behind the tent? I'm not saying that I'm just this, experienced person that's been in shootouts. Not at all. I've humble beginnings, great childhood, great early years of life. I was never in a situation like that. However, I think that we can all agree on common human reactions. And I think that when I hear fireworks like I do right now, if I was outside and it wasn't 4th of July and I heard a pop, I'd probably duck. Or I'd probably like be shocked for a little bit and look around to see where it came from. Let's see. If I saw Charlie fall, I probably would run towards him if it was really a good friend. You know what I mean? Either run towards him to help, or I might run away because I'm scared. I think me personally, most of the time I have like a ducking reaction, like a quick, maybe, see where it came from, and I'm like ducking. But Mikey McCoy did something that we have never ever seen a human do before, a regular human, because there are very crazy people that just, hey man, you built for it. But Mikey McCoy just walks away in less than a second and immediately is on the phone. And then next, he was called amazing for the next 2 months. But listen to what he said. This was back in September, so this is not anything new. But I saw this earlier today, and it was really sick to hear. And he was talking to Megyn Kelly. So let me play this really quick. But these are the people that we have to listen to that talk about Charlie Kirk. And people wonder why we love to hear Candace talk about Charlie Kirk. Well, that's because listen to who y'all want us to listen to. This is what we got to deal with. When it comes from the Charlie Kirk inner circle, this is who we have to deal with. Mikey McCoy, Blake Neff, Andrew Kolvet, and Erica. I don't want to listen to any of them, especially when it sounds like they're lying.
To their point, security-wise, I don't think it matters what the security was. Nothing was going to stop Charlie from giving his message where it needed to be. And he died too soon, but he was always ready to die. Everything he did, he poured into it 100%. He was always dedicated to his work, dedicated to his message. He knew that the truth was the truth. He'd always say, North is North, no matter what. There's objective truths that need to be shared to the world, and he was ready to share those.
When I saw, found out that he'd been wearing a bulletproof vest, I thought to myself, oh my God, like I didn't even know that it had gotten that bad.
Yeah.
Like in terms of the death threats, because we all sadly do get death threats in this, in the public eye.
Yeah.
Had it escalated prior to last week?
We've always gotten threats before. Nobody's ever really acted on them like in this way, but we have received stuff in the past.
It's so sick, right? It's like that this should be the cost for saying what you believe.
Truth.
Now everybody wants to know what Charlie would think about everything. You know, I'm talking to a lot of people. They say, well, what would Charlie think about this? What would Charlie think about that? And I try desperately not to answer those questions because it's just not up to me to say that kind of thing. I feel like Erica can say that and nobody else can say that.
Exactly.
But I do wonder, I feel like Charlie might be happy about the Jimmy Kimmel situation.
He put out a tweet. I posted on my story today. Jimmy Kimmel isn't funny. It was a tweet that he posted way back when.
He was right.
He
hasn't been funny for a long time.
To their point.
And then a couple of things. You wonder, Megyn Kelly loves to defend TPUSA and Erica so much, but Megyn Kelly hadn't been back on Turning Point USA ever since that day. And if she has, maybe one more time, but I really don't think it was. I think that was the last time. Because the donors aren't rocking with Megyn Kelly and Tucker Carlson. But then it just makes you wonder why Megyn Kelly doesn't care to speak out more if Charlie was a good friend and that TPUSA shut her out. Same as Tucker Carlson. He ain't been invited back ever since the day that he opened up Charlie Kirk's show once Charlie first died. They had to make it seem like a little normal. Invite Charlie's friends to make it seem, everything's all good. A couple of days go by and all of a sudden Tucker's kicked out of the club and he's never invited back to TPUSA. But y'all obviously heard the very beginning, which I'll play one more time because it happens very early on.
To their point, security-wise, I don't think it matters what the security was. Nothing was going to stop Charlie from giving his message where it needed to be. And he died too soon, but he was always ready to die.
They love to say that, right? He was always ready to die. And it's a strange thing, man, when people say that. Now, obviously, we know Candace has had the text messages and stories about Charlie being like, man, Turning Point USA is going to ultimately cost him his life. But I don't know, man. It's something about when Andrew Kolvet and Mikey McCoy says he always knew he's going to die. And I'm like, well, how do you know that? Because he had a wife and two beautiful kids, I'm assuming. So I think you might be throwing that around. Because if Erica, I know Erica said they asked her if Charlie could come back, would he? And she was like, no, he wouldn't. That whole performative thing. But I don't even think Erica would say Charlie was ready to die. He was just on standby, waiting for God to take him. No, I'm sorry. Erica herself said that the devil took Charlie. So I don't think Erica would I don't even think she would say, though, is Charlie was just on standby, ready to die. She was just waiting for the time he was just waiting for the time to come. I don't even think she would say that. So when Mikey says it, it's like, well, it's this thing, man. Oh my gosh, these people give me the heebie-jeebies, bro, every time they talk. But can I find that? I don't know if I can find that at this very moment as fast as I can. But Andrew Kolvet actually contradicts what Mikey just said, because Andrew Kolvet said in an interview with Alex Clark that they had no idea that this was going to happen, right? It was never planned. It was never talked about of Charlie not being here for the next 50 years. Let me see if I can find that really quick, because I just watched that the other day and it just came to my mind. I wasn't even trying to compare the two, but it literally just came to my mind. I just watched Andrew Kolvet say the other day that nobody was planning for Charlie Kirk not to be here for the next 50 years. Where is it at? It was Andrew Kolvet and Alex Clark. I don't even know what that is. All right. I found a video. Let's see. Hopefully we can find it. But Andrew Kolvet definitely says otherwise when it comes to Charlie's perspective on life. Thought I was finna sneeze. Which one is it? Yeah, let's start with this one. I want to see what this one. I'm looking for it, but a lot of these you're gonna still find very interesting Andrew Kolvet's answers. This chapter is Erica's confidence in Charlie's investigation.
I can't say it out loud, but Charlie did.
Does Erica have full confidence that we got the shooter, the right shooter?
I think so. And I also think, I think we're waiting to see if there's more details that will follow. Who knew in advance? Who radicalized them? Was there a funding network? All of that stuff I think is fair and open-ended questions that we can keep asking, and we should. But I have every confidence that Cash and Dan at the FBI and the whole DOJ are behind this, and the cooperation with local law enforcement has been tremendous. And so, yeah, I'm very aware that there are other theories of the case. And I would just say, listen, we have to open every door, pursue every lead, and be open to being surprised. That being said, there's a pretty high level of confidence that this is the truth and that they got the guy. And now we need to see how deep the rabbit hole goes.
How do you think this would have potentially played out differently if we would have had a Harris administration instead of a Trump?
Oh, gosh.
He'd be alive. Let me answer that question for you, Alex. He would be alive if Kamala Harris was the president right now.
Would have potentially played out differently if we would have had a Harris administration instead of a Trump.
Oh, gosh. It would have been an utter disaster. Somebody said to me this morning, actually.
It's a disaster right now. He would be alive if the Democrats were in office right now. Charlie Kirk would be alive. He might be facing federal charges and criminal charges because Charlie himself said that if the Democrats won, he would have been facing life in prison. I don't know why he'd say something like that. That's a crazy thing to say. I don't know. But however, he would have been alive to at least serve that jail time. He would not have been dead. So it's interesting how Andrew Kolvet's about to go on and on about boasting on how great the administration is and how great they're doing handling the Charlie Kirk investigation. I'm like, are you trying to gaslight us again, bro? Which obviously, yes, he is. But everything that you're saying right now is a lie. This investigation is terrible because of the people in charge right now. And just listen to how he describes it on how fortunate we are that Trump is president and that he's the one handling, this administration is the one handling this Charlie Kirk investigation.
Like,
had a Harris administration instead of a Trump.
Oh, gosh. It would have been an utter disaster. Somebody said to me this morning, actually, like, how fortunate we are that if this was going to happen.
Yep. I said the same.
That we have this administration in place, the administration that Charlie helped get elected, and then obviously flew to Mar-a-Lago within 72 hours of the election to help with the transition. So Charlie basically, helped hand select some of the people that are now overseeing the investigation and ensuring that justice is done.
As we wrap, there's just a couple things I want to hit.
One, by the way, very good doing this without questions.
Thank you,
You're
Andrew.
doing well.
I love to be super prepared and write out all my questions for my guests. And with Andrew, I know him so well. And, I'm just asking questions that have been in my mind for the last.
And you can tell Alex Clark is genuinely asking questions. I don't think she was part of the Fed slop at this moment. Because she was genuinely asking questions that she wanted to know the answer to. And I am probably 90% certain and sure that if she conducted this interview today with Andrew Kolvet, some of these questions would not be asked. For example, like this one.
Devastating wound.
Why did our team start taking down cameras immediately? Was it just in shock and just thinking like this is what we do and just not thinking it's a crime scene?
I think massive shock. I think there's been some stories about the SD.
Yes, absolutely. Our administration is exactly who took Charlie out. You know, I've said that before too. That is kind of like the ironic thing about everything is, you know, obviously the left and right are on the same team. They work for the same boss. So don't get too wrapped up in the Republican Democrat thing. However, if we want to play into that a little bit, the Republican Party, MAGA, all that, whatever you want to call it, yes, they are the ones who ultimately betrayed Charlie. All of them. The Democrats, they, you know, obviously a lot of those people, not the politicians, but the people, a lot of those people celebrated Charlie dying, all that other stuff. But they weren't behind why he died. They were just disrespectful during his death and laughing at it and all that other stuff. But they weren't ever doing anything shady. I guarantee you, if I asked, you know, the Un-F America tour, if we went and asked all of them where they were 9-10, I guarantee you all of their stories would align, even though they hated Charlie. They absolutely hated Charlie. But you could bring up every single person on that side and all of their stories would align on where they were 9-10, where they were this day, that day, all of these things that TPUSA struggles to do, which is just tell the honest truth. Everybody on that side would be completely honest and transparent, and it would make sense. But when it comes to the right, there's all of these loopholes. You got Kash Patel and the FBI denying these requests that Candace and others are asking for as far as their flight information on where they were on 9-10 and where they were on 9-9, 9-8, and they're denying all of that stuff. You got Trump, who doesn't care of what happened to Charlie. He wants to move on, similar to how he does, similar to how he wants to move on from the Butler situation, which is what he did. He moved on. His wife, Dan Bongino, is weird. Dan Bongino quit in December. You just heard Andrew Kolvet thank that Dan Bongino. So Dan Bongino was around when he had a hand in the Charlie Kirk investigation. Now he quit. He's gone. Kash Patel is weird. Joe Kent, like in a good way, not Joe Kent betraying, but Joe Kent saying basically that our administration blocked his work of looking into Charlie Kirk. So absolutely, the right is who betrayed Charlie Kirk, and it's so ironic because all they do is blame the left. That's all they do. They blame the left. Oh, it was some crazy leftist transferee. They love to say that, when in reality it wasn't. But what they're doing is pushing the same propaganda that they've been doing for decades, but finally we're waking up to it. And that is pushing this political violence and making it seem like we should be mad at the left. And it's this whole thing to keep us divided. And that's something that Charlie Kirk's death did. It really divided, to be honest, it divided the right even more between each other. But that's because they the ones that did it. It didn't divide the left. It divided the right down the middle. The right split in half. I wonder why. If y'all had nothing to do with it, that wouldn't have happened. But everything is shattering. MAGA is shattering. Everybody lost their faith in Trump as far as like being a great president and all that other stuff. You know, a lot of people don't, including myself, don't want to vote ever again. So, I mean, every little detail in this Charlie Kirk investigation points to the right being involved. But yes, the left and right still work for the same boss at the end of the day. I don't think Charlie would be dead. He'd be alive, but we still would have went to war. in Iran. We still would have had all these things going on. Kamala Harris is on record saying, you can find that's public information of her literally saying Iran does not need to have a nuke. All the same talking points Donald Trump said of why he wanted to start this war, Kamala Harris has said. So she would have did the same exact thing. But with the Democrats being in office, Charlie Kirk, and he probably would have been focused on many other things versus, you know, Trump being in office, and now he's a voice that's going to critique and criticize Trump and Izzy and all that other stuff. That's a big difference.
Cards or what?
Immediately, was it just in shock and just thinking like this is what we do and just not thinking it's a crime scene?
I think massive shock. I think there's been some stories about the SD cards or whatever. That was because even in the shock, there was an understanding that the proximity of those cameras were going to be evidence, and they wanted to make sure they didn't get stolen out of the cameras. But B, they didn't want anybody to run in. I mean, there was those videos of the kid running and grabbing the hats.
Yeah.
So there was an understanding. I mean, I talked to the team on that, and they said, because we know people can be evil.
Yeah.
And they grabbed the SD cards so that nobody could get that footage.
So that law enforcement could get it.
Did I answer your Maha question sufficiently?
Look how he moved on. Look how he moved on. Look how he moved on.
Yeah, nobody could on that. And they said, because we know people can be evil.
Yeah.
And they grabbed the SD cards so that nobody could get that footage.
So that law enforcement could get it.
Did I answer your Maha question sufficiently? Yeah, okay. He loved Maha. Well, he loved Maha moms too. He thought that Maha was the most...
Look how he moved on so fast. This is the creepiest one. If y'all didn't know, Andrew Kolvet is by far the creepiest one out of everybody at TPUSA. His wife, the widow, Blake Neff, anybody you can think of. Andrew Kolvet is the creepiest one. I think Andrew Kolvet is the most connected. His whole thing with, he used to work for the Adelsons. That alone is like, dude, what? You used to work for who? Then the whole story on how he got on with Charlie Kirk, how like first Charlie Kirk literally was like, I'm good, bro. We're good. We don't need you. And then miraculously, maybe not miraculously, that's probably a terrible word, but ironically, some bad thing happens with Charlie and an employee or something like that, where he needs help, almost like it was placed there, almost like it was planned. And then now he reaches out to Andrew. Yeah, I can use your help. I can use your help. But this is the most evil one out of everybody. But he talks about having the SD cards and how, again, if this interview was happening in these recent months, Alice Clark wouldn't be allowed to ask these questions. But they talk about how the SD cards are going to be used as evidence. He said that himself. So if this front camera, I need y'all remember, I can't pull it up, but y'all remember how close that front camera was that was in front of Charlie? It's super, super HD. I don't even know if I can pull up an example on how clear it is. Super clear. I don't want to waste too much time doing that. Super clear, right in front of Charlie. And then obviously the one that's behind. He's the one that said that it's used as evidence. So that means it should be brought into court next week. If it's not, what are we talking about? I don't even know how the defense team, I mean, that's a whole nother thing. I don't know how the defense team, they have so many things that they could just request and pull. There's another interesting. No, I actually want to play. Oh, I'm not gonna forget to play it because that is actually something interesting I wanted to play. Where's the thing where Andrew Kolvet talks about? Oh man, I'll find it for another day. I don't want to waste too much time on it. The last thing I will play is Andrew Kolvet's last remarks that he wanted to leave for everybody before he signed off of this podcast. And I just want to tell y'all, I don't know how y'all discernment is. Everybody has different levels of discernment. I feel like I want to believe that mine's is very, very good. I can kind of detect BS quite often. I'm sorry, my chest is doing this thing because I drank an energy drink, so y'all know how that go. But listen to Andrew Kolvet's final remarks before signing off. And again, these folks give me the heebie-jeebies. It just don't sound genuine. But I'm gonna let y'all be. Here it is. I'm gonna let y'all dictate what y'all think about this.
Every day.
I ask every guest this question at the end of my episodes. If you could offer one remedy to heal a sick culture, physically, emotionally, or spiritually, what would that remedy be?
You know the way I'll answer this. So yes, the answer is give your life to Jesus, repent and be saved.
He's not done. It don't feel good hearing that from Andrew Kolvet. Like it didn't feel good. It doesn't sound genuine. I'm gonna let him continue. I'll let him do his whole spiel before I comment.
I know that sounds like, so yes, the answer is give your life to Jesus. Repent.
What would that remedy be?
You know the way I'll answer this. So yes, the answer is give your life to Jesus, repent and be saved. And I know that sounds like kind of fire and brimstone age, but like it's literally that simple. But what does repent mean? It means it's not just saying sorry, it's like turning around. So the thing that when I say like you should repent, like repent, you know what it is, that whatever that thing is, like instantly there will be something that comes into your head and you'll be like, I know the thing that I'm really like, I know I have to stop. That is the thing that you need to spend all your time and heart energy, like quiet time, figure out how you're going to stop that. Is it an addiction? Is it a lie you're telling? Is it something you're holding on to? Is it wealth that you refuse to let go? Is it a comfort? Is it an expectation for the future of your life? And I will just tell you, because when this happened, I remember I got the news. My wife came in and I looked at her and I said, everything just changed. And I remember thinking, I didn't want it to change. Not only was I tragically like devastated that one of my best friends in the whole wide world, my brother, like my business partner, the leader of Turning Point and this icon of our culture had just been assassinated in cold blood. All those things are going through your head, but I had also to confront the fact that all of my little comforts had just evaporated. All of the things that I thought about the future of my life had just gone out the window. And I would say that I wrestled with that quietly alone. Like I didn't have enough time to think about it, but I would get up to my hotel room and just be hit by the weight of, I don't know what's coming next. And then actually,
I'm muted. I just feel like this is a soft confession. Like he didn't really confess anything crazy, but he went from leaving like his final remarks for other people to doing like this deep thought of what he's going through personally. And I just went to my room and thought to myself, like, what's next? Like, I feel like it was just this soft launch of a confession that he's battling and wrestling with.
is Allie's coming next? And then actually it was Allie Stuckey sent me this song by Matthew West. It's just weird. It was like the Saturday after, in my hotel room. My wife's like, back with our kids and I'm just like alone. And it was probably the first second I stopped for a second. And I listened to this song and it just started weeping. I was like bawling, like ugly cry, like, talking to you ladies, you know what I'm talking about. This would be the right podcast to say this.
To reveal this.
Yeah, I just had this like ugly cry, but I needed to get it out. I don't know. And I repented. And I repented because I think up until that moment, I didn't feel like I could do what was going to be called of me in the days and weeks ahead. And in that moment, I repented, because what was holding me back from feeling like I could rise to this moment and rise to this occasion was that I was not willing to let go of my flesh. And I wasn't willing to let go of my selfishness. And in that moment, I realized, like, Lord, it is all whatever you want. Like, I throw my hands up and I throw them out to you. I'm open to you. And I understand that this is not what my flesh wanted, but I don't want my flesh. I want what you want for me. So just come, Holy Spirit, like, change me. Don't let me hold on to these things that I think I need, because I know that I don't. And if you bring them back to me, so be it. If you don't, so be it. Like, your will be done, not mine.
You said that
Dude, that was literally a confession. And that is exactly what he said on that interview with podcast with Megyn Kelly that one time, when he said everybody processes their guilt differently. And Megyn was like, grief. He was like, oh yeah, grief. Yeah. That's what this is. This is guilt right here. This is a confession to his guilt. Who, I don't want to say nobody, right? But what are the odds that your best friend dies, right? Best friend dies in the craziest way, and you're in the hotel surrendering your life because of all the fleshful things that you like. I don't know, bro. I just think that, like, I'm thinking about, like, timeline wise. I mean, like, maybe if you want to give somebody a benefit of the doubt, not Andrew Kolvet, maybe you're just, like, afraid that it could have been you, so you want to get right with God. Maybe if I'm giving a random person the benefit of the doubt, that's why they are in the hotel room on their knees repenting after their best friend dies. But Andrew Kolvet saying that, bro, nah, that's weird. That's so weird. I was in the room repenting, and when the whole conversation was, what advice do you have for everybody else? And then he goes into this whole spiel about he was in a hotel room repenting and trying to give his, I don't know, bro. That was so strange and so eerie. And yeah, I see somebody's comment and say something about him being fruity. Bro, everybody at TBUSA, that's the funny part about it. They all talked about Tyler Robinson is this transgender furry, right? They love to throw that out there. And then Andrew Kolvet loves to talk about how Charlie, y'all didn't know this, but Charlie, when we was, when the cameras were off, Charlie was afraid of the transgender community. He was afraid of the LGBTQ, but all that. He was afraid. I'm like, bro, no, he wasn't. First off, bro, 6'5". He's not afraid of gay people. Secondly, all of y'all are gay around him. I think that's a whole nother story. But, like, I just don't know what's going on here. There's no, like, what is this reverse psychology that's going on right now? You're trying to tell me that Charlie hated gay people. Yeah, every single person around him is gay. Every single, and then, I just don't understand it. Every single one of them. Tyler Boyer, we played that on a Yappisode before. Tyler Boyer is absolutely gay. There's no way around it. We played his part on a Yappisode before where he was like, you're a very popular lady. Yeah. You're very popular. No, you're popular. Like, it was him talking to a girl just like that. I'm sorry. There's not a single second in the day where I could talk like that on accident. Like, I happen to talk like that. It's just not going to happen. So many people, right? Andrew Kolvet, throughout this whole interview, he just sounds a little sus. It sounds like it's a little sugar in there. These folks is closeted. I don't, and then I never got that vibe from Charlie. I never really did. Even if I try to think as hard as I can right now in this moment, I can't even think of a time where I was like, Charlie, that was one of the moments, bro. Like, what's up with you? I really don't recall. Yeah, I mean, he was very like nerdy and stuff like that, but the whole full on Tyler Boyer gay? No, bro, I've never. So that's why I'm like, what's up with everybody around Charlie being gay? But then yet y'all want to push this message like Charlie was so afraid of gay people. And I'm like, what is going on? Why is everything so like reverse psychology type thing that's going on right now? He literally did not hate gay people because all of y'all are gay. What are you talking about? And Andrew Kolvet is absolutely gay. I can't. I haven't found too many crazy slip ups. Tyler Boyer had the craziest slip up. I hope I can find it, because y'all will be. Some people have not seen it yet, and I hope I can find it. That was insane. Let me see. Tyler Boyer. Amfest. Yes, sir. Tyler Boyer. I found ya. Let me pull you up, my boy. They love to say, man, I'm not gay. I got a wife and kids. Bro, that don't mean a dang thing, bro. It's called closeted for a reason. You got a wife and kids, right? But on the weekends, you be in some other places. You be having a little fun. Let's check out Tyler Boyer. Tyler Boyer said he's not gay. Said he don't swing the other way. But I'm gonna let y'all be the judge of that. Bro, what's up with you, bro? Why I can't click that? There we go. Bro.
I'm Reagan Reese. I'm the White House correspondent.
Oh, what is happening? Why can't I click this freaking thing?
The Daily Caller. I'm Reagan Reese. I'm the White House correspondent for the Daily Caller. We're here at Turning Point USA's AmFest. I'm here with Tyler Boyer. Thanks so much.
You're a very popular lady. You know that.
You're a popular
No,
guy.
you're very popular. Yeah, you've got some like very viral stuff that you do. You put out there.
Thank you. We're just trying to tell the truth at the Daily Caller.
Gay. I'm sorry. Gay. That's exactly what you are, bro. I mean, it's just straight up. Nothing against gay people at all. Don't take it that way. I'm just saying these people are pretending like they're not. And it's like, just call it what it is, bro. That's what you are. That is what you are. I've never in my life talked like this a day in my life.
AmFest. I'm here with Tyler Boyer. Thanks so much.
You're a very popular lady.
Bro, look at that first look. Hold on.
AmFest. I'm here with Tyler Boyer. Thanks so much.
You're a very
Bro, just look at the mannerisms. Or like the way he moving. Like
popular lady. You know that.
You're a popular
No,
guy.
you're very popular. Yeah, you've got some like very viral stuff that you do. You put out there.
Thank you. We're just trying to tell the truth at the Daily Caller. It's been the time of my life. So
Appreciate it.
I think I texted you this. I'm so embarrassed to admit this. It is my first ever AmFest.
This is your first time here?
Yes. So I graduated from Hillsdale College. I never really needed.
I haven't watched this much of I literally only watched like the first 12 seconds. So I'm listening a little bit more to what he has to say before I exit out of this.
A turning point because I was in a sea of conservative students and like-minded
Hillsdale's
kids.
like a giant turning point chapter.
Yes, it is. And so I'm like so excited to be here. And I just
Bro, look at him.
And so I'm like so excited.
Hillsdale's like a giant turning point chapter.
Yes, it is. And so
What? Look at him. Posture on point. Slight head tilt, cheese.
I'm like so excited to be here.
Look at him. Buddy, you definitely swing the other way on the weekends. Only on the weekends, though. Throughout the week, you got a wife and 2 kids. On the weekends, you swing the other way. Absolutely.
And I just want to ask you, what does it mean to be here? This Amfest, the first one without Charlie.
Yeah, you know, it's like it's a very surreal place. You know, this is a business that I had the benefit for the last 11 years to build together with Charlie. So,
Yeah.
I mean, we started 11 years ago hosting this.
I mean, I've heard enough. And then keep in mind, he old, I don't want to say like old, but he is as old as Erica. Like he's like 38, something like that, 38, 39, maybe like 37, 38, 39, one of them. So buddy, you know how to talk normal. That's not something that you're struggling with. That's something that you're comfortable with. That is you. So this is not a I don't know, much younger individual that is going back and forth battling with his sexuality or something like that. No, this is a 38-year-old man that is very aware of how he sounds. He's not struggling at all talking like that. That's not normal. So yes, he is absolutely gay. It is insane. And it's just, I don't know, bro. That whole thing is just so weird to me on how everybody is everybody was gay. Like that was hired at Turning Point USA. And even when the people that are speaking out, like great people that are speaking out, by the way, I'm not taking that away from them at all the ex-employees and stuff like that. But like a lot of the ex-employees, one of them, I think his name is Matthew. He's openly gay. He says it all the time. And he talks about how like at Turning Point USA, they do a lot of like parties that do stuff like that and all of that. And he was like, yeah, everybody knew that I was gay and we would do this, we would do that. And so it's just insane. It's crazy. I wanted to, that's why I should have played it. I knew I was gonna lose my train of thought. Let me see if I can find it. I knew I was gonna lose my train of thought. Was it YouTube? Let me see if it was YouTube. Yes, it was YouTube. It's coming to my mind. Yes, I remember. All right, so I wanted to play a little bit of a video of Tucker Carlson. If y'all are looking at the theme tonight, it's kind of like everybody that was like right after 9/10 and the things that they said right after 9/10 and how things changed for a lot of people. And I think a lot of people are doing that as well, which is great because we're able to kind of like see everybody in the timeline of everybody shifting their views, what they used to say, what they didn't used to say. Lisa Knows went from telling everybody to question the original narrative because why would we ever believe the government? She said that on 9/10, I think, when everything first went down, or maybe it'd been shortly after Charlie died. And now, all of a sudden, she's telling everybody that we should trust the government, we should trust the FBI, and all that stuff. And she literally has tweets out saying that we should never trust them. So it's funny seeing everybody switch. But I want to play Tucker Carlson really quick. I don't know how long this last part is of him talking. Seems like it's a little bit, but I want to play something very specific with Tucker and Megyn Kelly. And that's Tucker kind of describing or talking about Charlie in his final weeks / months leading up to him being eliminated.
You were traveling yesterday. Where are you at right now? Less than 24 hours later.
Well, I mean,
and just to put it out there, because a lot of people probably don't know, we have a lot of new Yap community members. Tucker Carlson, in my opinion, should absolutely speak up way more. I think that for what Tucker Carlson stands for and what he promotes, I think that he's not really doing that at the moment, which is standing up for truth. He literally has quotes saying, tell the truth, even if it costs you. You're going to die anyway. So I don't think he's doing that at the moment. I think he's staying quiet. Now, he could be very terrified. He could be facing threats. He could be facing the same scary people that Erica's facing. I'm not oblivious to that at all. It's a possibility. However, he's oddly quiet during this Charlie Kirk investigation. I think he should absolutely speak up, because everybody knows that Charlie the pressure ramped up a lot when Tucker was on that stage. And, he told Tucker to go max, and all of these donors was texting Charlie about Tucker. So I think Tucker should speak up for Charlie, knowing that Charlie is no longer here to speak up for himself. Also, because he was there when Erica, and Tucker confirmed this in the interview already, he was there when Erica was anti-Izzy at the last dinner with the Kirks. But he's now watching Erica lay in bed with Izzy, take their money, and ultimately do everything that Charlie was turning away from in his final days. Tucker sees that. He's looking at that happen. And he won't say a word. So I think he should speak up. His platform and him saying something would benefit the investigation. Especially somebody that is claiming to be Charlie's good friend. I think he should speak up even more. I know he's afraid to do it. He doesn't want to do it because he's so close with Erica. He's so close to Blake Neff. He's so close with Turning Point, all the other stuff. But I think somebody like Tucker, he knows exactly what's going on. But he puts on like this oblivious act as if like, I don't know what, he does that thing. But I think he should for sure speak up way more. I think that it's his duty for somebody with his platform that always brings up absolutely everything else. He did a whole documentary about Bibi Netanyahu. He does all of this research on the Butler, Pennsylvania thing, 9/11. Tucker does his research on everything else, but when it comes to his close friend, he has nothing to say. He doesn't want to say anything. And he's even said it. He said he has no plans on criticizing Turning Point USA or Erica. He says that he don't like everything that's going on, but he doesn't want to get involved in all that. So that's that. So let's see what Tucker had to say right here.
Of course, bewildered. I got back last night and stayed up until probably like everybody until 1 a.m, talking to people and texting people, and then on X looking at the reaction. And I woke up this morning and I thought to myself, that's really not the way at all, to sit and marinate in the hate, which I did. I couldn't help it. It's like pornography or snuff videos or something. You're just like mesmerized by it. It's like watching a tragedy over and over, not the violence, but the hate. I mean, I must have watched 15 videos of young women celebrating Charlie's death. And my first thought was, well, this is obviously some kind of, manufactured attempt to divide the country against itself. And it's probably all fake. And then you look and it's actually not fake. Here's a teacher from an elementary school in Idaho, and here's a yoga instructor from West Hollywood. And these are like real people with real names. And then you realize, boy, I mean, the depth of evil out there is really overwhelming. Like, what country, do I know the country? Do I know who lives here? Like, what is this? And I was just, I couldn't turn away. And I realized when I woke up this morning, that's really hurting me. And I woke up to a group text from my wife, to our family text. Of course, everyone knew Charlie. He was just at our house. And very upset for a bunch of different reasons. And she sent Luke 6, which is like the most radical thing that anyone's ever said. And it's like, no. Love your enemies. Pray for your persecutors. When someone assaults you, don't fight back. Which is impossible, of course. I mean, no one can do that. And it literally takes supernatural intervention for anyone to live that way, much less to feel that way. And that's what's called for, is supernatural intervention. I mean, you can take all kinds of steps. We do need to restore order in the country, and no one's kind of done that for the last 50 years. And this is the end result of
Actually, that is completely my fault. I see y'all saying in the comments, y'all actually had me scared. So this is a side note because I really got nervous. I thought I got suspended and banned on my accounts. I did change my usernames over the weekend because I was trying to align everything in one, so that way I can have the same username across all platforms. So yes, what you see in the bottom, like right under Tucker, is not accurate. All of that has changed. And I need to update that whatever you call it, backdrop. It is now Jay the Yapper 1, the number 1. Jay the Yapper 1 on X, and it's Jay the Yapper 1 on TikTok. So now it's the same thing. But yes, it did change. Y'all scared me, bro. I thought I got banned. That's tough.
true disorder. And by order, by the way, that doesn't mean authoritarian behavior or limiting people's constitutional rights or races. There's nothing like that. I mean, order is the key to happiness and peace. Order is what God creates out of chaos at the beginning of Genesis. Like, order is a prerequisite for joy. So we need order. We don't have it. I hope it's restored. But much more deeply, people need to be transformed and see each other as God sees them, you know, including their enemies, as human beings who are doing bad things but are still created by God. Like,
I'm still waiting for Tucker to say something very important. I don't think he said it yet, but we'll keep listening.
without that worldview, then you descend into hell. In fact, you already live there, which is where, in some sense, we live now. And boy, that just became clear because it happened to me. I mean, I was sitting there fuming and despair and like, by the way, what was this? You know, there's always a lot going on in the backdrop, a lot. And I don't know, of course, the answer, but everyone's got an opinion on that. And it really took me away from Charlie, Erica, and their children, and the things that you should be meditating on and praying about. You know, it totally took me out of that into this place of hate, and I don't want to go there. So let me just say quickly about Charlie. I've known him since he was a teenager.
Yeah, I did hear that comment. Y'all know how I feel about Tucker, so like, I don't even want to. But yeah, I did peep.
And want to go there. So let me just say quickly about Charlie. I've known him since he was a teenager, and just an amazing person. But the two things that stick out: he's a Christian man. And we talked about that a lot, including, you know, just the other day. There's a lot of pressure on public people, as people who run huge, you know, $100 million a year nonprofits, and there are a lot of pitfalls and traps. It's why so many of them are destroyed. And Charlie really did, without, you know, betraying details, like he walked the line for real. It was the topic of many conversations between us because I've seen so many people destroyed. You know, most people are destroyed by power, and he wasn't. And I just really admire that. I mean, to his last moments, you know, in order, he cared about God, his wife, and his children, and then his country. So, and that was,
he's about to mention it.
Totally real, completely real. Mm-hmm. I can affirm that because I just talked to him about it so much. And I admire that. And he's a model, really. I mean, he didn't have hate in his heart. And it was funny. And again, it's one of the reasons I couldn't stop looking at these videos last night. People were describing the opposite of what he was. He was filled with hate. No. And if you talk to him about people who had attacked him or who were truly his enemies, up to, and I think including the people who assassinated him yesterday, he would never, ever express hate, ever. He would always turn to, no, this person is
people, what he said, the people that assassinated him yesterday.
Been let express hate, ever. Who assassinated him yesterday, or who were truly his enemies, up to, and I think including the people who assassinated him yesterday, he would never.
See, Tucker be dropping little hints in there. He be dropping little hints in there. Only beef I got with you though, Tucker, is that your best friend, Erica, I'm just calling him your best friend, calling her your best friend is being petty. She is pushing absolute fed slop down everybody's throats, saying that there is not multiple people involved, that is only one person involved. And if you think otherwise, you're demonic. And knowing Tucker, he is somebody that stands up to people that talk like that, and he doesn't allow that. He rejects that. He talks about it all the time. So it's just interesting on how he not that he necessarily allows, because Erica's a grown woman. These people are grown. They're going to do whatever they want. But Tucker used to be kind of like a voice of the people or for the people. And so, you know, he's going to have this excuse of like he doesn't do any research on what's going on. He has no idea, all the other stuff. But I don't know. His brother is like literally the most outspoken person. Well, I wouldn't say ever, but he's well aware of what's going on. So it's just interesting on how, right? I think it's his brother, not his son. I think it's his brother. I think his son works for JD Vance. So I don't know. It's just odd that his brother is well aware of what's going on, but Tucker's just like, oh, I don't know what's going on, and I'm not going to look into it. And I'm like, everything that you literally stand for, bro, is just you're just not standing 10 toes behind it right now. Everybody's trying to call all of us demonic and gaslight us all, and Tucker's like, not my fight. I don't want to comment on that. But I'm going to be best friends with those people that do that. And tell everybody that they're demonic, and it's crazy.
And I think including the people who assassinated him yesterday, he would never, ever express hate, ever. He would always turn to, no, this person has been led astray. This person is clearly possessed by dark forces. This person is a perpetrator, but also a victim of evil. I mean, that really was his worldview. That's the Christian worldview. And he expressed that in public and especially in private. And I think that faith, which was completely real, not the fake faith that you see on display so often, but a real one, that was the root of his courage.
Who you talking about, Tucker? You talking about your best buddy? Because I feel like she got a lot of fake faith going on.
And he had real courage. He loved being with people who disagreed with him, not theoretically with them, but physically with them, you know, like close enough to smell. He would wade right into the middle of everything. I could tell you a million stories that I saw, but that was absolutely real. Like he loved people, even people who hated him, and people he loved. He was the rare person who was willing to tell them what he thought was true. I mean, he really believed, as a political matter, by the way, that, you know, I don't think he had animus toward anybody in no other country, but he really believed in his own country and the obligation of his government to stand behind his country. He was truly America first in the nicest, most decent, non-ideological, but sincere way. He was one of the only people, I mean, truly one of the only people to go to the president whom he loved. He loved Donald Trump, like personally as well. And I think the president really loved him in a real way. But he was one of the only people to go to the Oval Office and say, sir, I totally understand and think Iran's really bad, but a war with Iran is not, you know, is something that could really hurt our country. I mean, boy, that was an unpopular position. He didn't need to express it. Oh, of course. And he did it again. He didn't have some weird agenda. He wasn't mad at anybody. He was for his country, and he was for doing the right and wise and difficult thing. And he said that. He went to the Oval Office to say that. He took massive, massive abuse from his own donors, which is also something that you don't see people. And he loved his donors. It wasn't a hostile thing, but they had a different view. A lot of them, not all, but a lot. And they expressed it to him in a very intense way. I know because he showed me. And he said, look, I understand your perspective. This is my perspective. And we're going to do what we think is the right thing, the wise thing.
In that way, too, he was the voice of young people. I mean, there are no young people in the country anymore supporting this war and wanting Israel to continue its bombing campaign. That's just the truth. Look at the polls. And he was in touch with them. And even where his own opinion may have differed from their opinion, he felt like he owed it to them to bring their message to the sitting president of the United States. I mean, it was, that's what's been snuffed out.
Well, as he has been, unfortunately, but he was one of the very few people I have met who combined
this is actually very interesting, and I do want to keep listening. I didn't listen this much. So I want to keep my place 1 hour and 26 minutes because I actually want to find literally just one sentence he said before he gets into all of this. And if I can't find it, that's fine. I'll just say it, but I just want to hear the context of it again.
Carlson, of the Tucker, been really wanting to hear your reaction to the news. I know you were traveling yesterday. Where are you at right now, less than 24 hours later?
Well, I mean, of course, bewildered. I got back last night and stayed up until probably like everybody, on.
Yeah, I heard that part too. So we started at the right place.
Anymore supporting this war and wanting Israel to continue its bombing campaign. That's just the truth. Look at the polls. And he was in touch.
Okay, he might say it soon, but I'll just say it. Tucker Carlson talks about how Charlie he says it in this interview, Charlie was at his house not too long ago. And we know now that Tucker had the final dinner with the Kirks in July, I believe. And so Tucker says in this interview that Charlie was like very upset about something. The timeline is crazy. He had the Hamptons probably a little bit before that, and then he had this with Tucker. But Tucker says in this interview that Charlie was very upset. And he talks about like he was upset here. And that's the same dinner that Candace was referring to or about Erica being anti-Izzy at this dinner with Tucker. So tying it all together, Tucker is well aware that Erica was anti-Izzy right in his face. Charlie died. She flipped on her husband because now she's all pro Izzy, Shabbat Shalami, all this other stuff going on. Everything is just Jewish. All this, she's accepting the money that Charlie didn't want to accept. And Tucker watched the flip happen. He knows how stressed out Charlie was because he just talked about it a little bit of Charlie showing Tucker the text messages and how stressed he was, and he was upset at the dinner and all this other stuff. So that's why I say Tucker knows so much. He can be so helpful. And I agree with Tucker most of the time on a lot of things. I do think that some of the things that he's said in the past were shady. But like at the moment, we're just talking about talking points. Obviously, we don't know these people like that. So I would never put 100% of like my trust into these people. We don't know them. I'm normal, but I would still tell people, never 100% like follow anybody blindly. Like it's okay to just, you shouldn't agree with anybody 100% of the time. Now I'm normal, so I don't have to worry about me being sold out to somebody. I don't have any, I'm just normal guy that's about to literally go to sleep as soon as we turn this off. I'm already in my PJs. So I don't have to worry about that. However, with Tucker Carlson, I'm like, bro, you know so much, bro. You know so much about this Charlie Kirk investigation. Why don't you say anything? Why don't you say anything? It would be so helpful, bro. And he's like, oh, I'm gonna say more. I'm waiting. He said, I'm waiting for the trial. He didn't say I'm gonna say more. He actually said, I don't want to comment and get into all of that. But he said, I'm waiting for the trial. And I'm like, but if you know that it's not Tyler Robinson, how about you say more before they convict this boy for pulling the trigger when you know he didn't do it? And you haven't really pushed back that much. So it's just like, man, bro, he knows so much. He was there when he talked about Charlie was so upset. He was there, but he just doesn't speak at all. And that's what makes me just believe that, like, when you have platforms like Tucker that just refuses to talk about the Charlie Kirk investigation, I'm like, well, you can't turn around and act like you wanted real justice for Charlie when you really went. Did you really do enough, bro? You know what I mean? Did you really do enough? You can't really act like you really, really, really wanted justice for Charlie when you weren't speaking out that much about it. And he knows so much
with them, and even where his own opinion may have differed from their opinion.
No, I agree. I mean, well, that's the thing. Tucker saying something, I agree and disagree at the same time. Tucker saying something is not going to change the entire outcome. I do agree to an extent with that because the outcome is already predetermined. These folks want Tyler Robinson to go down. And I've already said that too. Tyler Robinson is either not going to make it to trial or he's going to plead guilty for absolutely no reason. However, the whole point, I think, in all of this is just like for everybody to just truly go max. And even if we don't get judicial justice, it's like at least we gave it our all and laid it all out on the table for the entire world to see that we just weren't going for it, right? Tucker is somebody that firmly stands on like not trusting the government, and he's talking about creating this independent party and all this other stuff. Like, so he's pushing for, you know, the regular people to get out of this space of the politics and waking up to realize that all of it's fake, all of it's an illusion, which is very true. It all really is. But in that same breath, he's not pushing back against this Fed slop that's going on with his best friend. So that's why it's just a little confusing to me. And yes, it does hit home. And he probably knows exactly what Erica and Charlie kids look like. And he's so close to everybody. But just like someone said in the comments, which is what I've also said before as well, a friend to all is a friend to no one. Like a friend to all is a friend to none. A friend to everybody is a friend to no one. Tucker being friends with Blake Neff, Andrew Kolvet, Tournament USA, Charlie, Dan Bongino, like he's friends with everybody. And he even said, I love everybody from every side. Like I love Blake Neff. I love Erica. I love Charlie. Well, okay, so you'll never speak up. You'll never speak up because you're a people pleaser. Like you don't want to cross that line. So it's like, but him speaking up, it would do a lot. Similar to the Sean Ryan interview. Like Sean Ryan platforming Candace introduced Candace to an entire side of people. Tucker also has a boomer type audience. Like he has older generation of people listening to him. So if Tucker was somebody the same way how he used to speak out against Izzy and how hard he would go against Izzy and critique Izzy and all this other stuff, he could do the same thing with Charlie Kirk. He can do the same thing. He doesn't have to wait for it to be popular. Because I think that's what a lot of people are doing. Like a lot of people in those huge platforms, they know that it's not fun being the villain. It's not fun being the person that's speaking out with this Charlie Kirk situation. But if it was popular and all of that, then they would do it. And I just feel like Tucker speaks out on absolutely everything else but Charlie Kirk. And it's weird. That's the only thing that he wants to be a fence sitter on. He's firm on everything else. But when it comes to Charlie Kirk, Megyn Kelly, both of them together, oh my gosh, I didn't even realize that. I did, but these two right here on the screen are the most professional fence sitters when it comes to Charlie Kirk. A lot of other stuff, they have great takes and great opinions. This certain conversation, these two sit on the fence together.
He felt like he owed it to them to bring their message to the sitting president of the United States. I mean, that's what's been snuffed out.
Well, as he has been, unfortunately, but he was one of the very few people I have met who combined a love for everyone involved with strong views. So again, he was not animated by anything creepy or weird. I mean, you knew him.
And then Tucker pretended like he didn't even know his father was CIA. It's so many things. That's why I say you can't really trust these people 100% of the time. He used to work for Fox. So that means that he used to be a paid, he used to push propaganda, right? He was paid to push propaganda. So he been there, done that. So you've lied to the people before. Now, sure, you were independent. You got your own platform. You're speaking out. You're doing all this other stuff. But you still, at one point in time, was lying to everybody for money, for a check. So I don't think you're dumb, right? I think he's a very intelligent guy. So I think you knew what you were doing. And, you know, whether the check stopped hitting or whether, I don't know. But now all of a sudden, you're going independent and you want to speak out and all this other stuff. But at one point in time, you literally was pushing Fed slop and pushing propaganda down everybody's throats, just like these other politicians. So I have to take note of that. There's no way I could just let that go. So that's what I mean by like not following anybody 100% of the time, not trusting anybody blindly 100% of the time. We have to know these things. So when it comes to Charlie Kirk, I feel like Tucker for sure treats this like a true politician. He doesn't say too much. He makes sure that he is very, very careful that he straddles the line and that he makes everybody happy on both sides. Similar, literally just like Megyn Kelly. He's like, yeah, it's definitely not Tyler Robinson. That doesn't really make sense. But then he's like, I don't know who else it could be. I don't know. I just know it's not Tyler Robinson, but I don't know who else it could be. He doesn't want to point and draw his own conclusions and opinions. And it's like, bro, you can have an opinion, bro. You can throw out an opinion. It doesn't mean that you're just the worst guy ever. But him defending Turning Point, well, I wouldn't say defending Turning Point USA. He defends Erica quite often. More times than not. He's never not defending her. And when anybody brings something up about it, he says it in that interview with Jack Neal. He was like, Erica's catching a lot of smoke, a lot of heat. I don't know what's going on with that. I don't care to know what's going on with that. Why would you not care to know what's going on with that if it involves Charlie? That's strange. So I don't know. It's weird. But his voice would be very helpful in this space because he is connected to these politicians and all that side of the world that starts to care when certain people speak. The feds don't care if I speak. The feds don't even, believe it or not, the feds don't care when Candace and Barron speak. That's how small they attempt to make the American people. And I'm not saying that when Tucker speaks, all of a sudden everybody's going to care either. However, I do think that people with large platforms like Tucker, who is heavily connected to the White House, similar to Charlie Kirk, those people should speak up more. That's why Charlie Kirk was so crucial and key to this generation and to society, because he was somebody that spoke out a lot. He was somebody that was in the White House telling people, suggesting to Donald Trump that he should not do certain things. Those people are necessary.
Intimately, so you know this is true. If you talk to him off camera, he would say, I really, I love whoever I'm talking about, but I think this is wrong. It's immoral. It's bad for everybody involved, both sides. And he would say that, and he could say that because it was sincere. It was completely sincere, but I cannot overstate the amount of attacks he took privately over this, absolutely for real. And
oh, really, Tucker? Because I don't know, his wife, Andrew Kolvet, Turning Point USA, all of them deny the idea of him being super threatened and attacked privately. All of them. And no, we ain't talking about the random attacks from that they try to manufacture, like, oh, the transgender furries. No. Tucker is acknowledging that he was extremely stressed out with the donors and all the other stuff. And Turning Point USA completely reject all of that. Erica rejects all of that, but he always defends Erica. It's crazy.
And having lived in Washington most of my life and seen people run nonprofits, I've never met one who was willing. Stand up is too strong. He wasn't confrontational, but he would just say, no, I'm sorry that you feel that way, but I think this is the right thing. The people we represent, which is mostly young people, they believe this, and I believe it also. It was brave but loving at the same time, and I'm not sure he made a lot of headway, by the way. I mean, I think he made real enemies in doing that, but his view didn't change. Anyway, he was just a wonderfully decent, loving man. That is true.
What do you think about the actual assassination?
Oh, I'm glad we found this gem tonight, because I haven't listened to this at all. I only listened to that one part. So I'm curious on what he's about to say on this. And I've heard that before. Like somebody said, he'll speak when the right time comes. I don't believe it. I've been saying that for quite some time. I don't believe it. He just had an interview with Jack Neal, and he said he doesn't plan on speaking on it. He doesn't plan on getting involved in all of that. So I don't believe it. I think that he's going to ride the fence, and maybe after the trial, he's going to try to speak up when it's a little popular. But I don't think he will, man. I really don't. I hope so. I hope he does prove me wrong. I hope so. But I just think him talking about how much he loves all of these different parties, and these parties conflict with one another. Like when he talks about loving Blake Neff, and then he talks about loving Erica so much, loving Charlie so much. I'm like, dude, those things don't go together. They don't, because Blake Neff has said some weird. Blake Neff literally called Tucker a liar in a conversation involving Charlie Kirk. Dead Charlie Kirk. Like Blake Neff said, Tucker said anybody that was in Charlie's circle that really knows Charlie and really knew him knows that he was eliminated for his change of perspective on our greatest ally. Tucker said that. And I agree. Blake Neff went to the internet literally the same night and said, Tucker, you were not involved in that circle. You are a liar. How crazy is that to say? How crazy is that to say to Tucker Carlson, who I believe more than Blake Neff? I believe Tucker Carlson was more involved with Charlie. Blake Neff, the person that Tucker loves so much, the person that Tucker Carlson put on with Charlie Kirk, called Tucker a liar and said Tucker was not that involved with Charlie Kirk. He was not in that circle, and he's a liar. And Tucker has never said anything since. Didn't say anything, didn't respond back to that, nothing. And I know some people are going to be like, oh, he's not on the internet, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, bro, these are some crazy things that are happening, Tucker, for you to just like not know. Right? This is somebody literally telling you that you put on with Charlie Kirk, right? This is a conflict of interest. Tucker put on with Charlie Kirk, and Tucker literally was, and Blake Neff said, Tucker, you are a liar. You weren't even close with Charlie. That's crazy. How do we just not say anything about that? So I don't know. It's kind of weird.
Who was potentially behind it? Do we believe this business about the New York Times is trying to cast doubt on what was on those cartridges and whether those messages were really there? Not saying it didn't happen, but suggesting like, be careful because.
Yeah, I think Tucker wants to stay alive. I've always like threw that idea out there. Tucker's scared. He's being threatened because he just saw Charlie die. And he knows exactly who did it. And he's afraid to share that information. I 100%, but not 100%. I understand that perspective. But like I have shared with everybody in the Yap community, and I'm just keeping it real. If Tucker's being threatened and he's scared, because it's a possibility, then that means that you have to consider everything else he says, and you can't take it at face value, because that means that you're comfortable speaking on certain things, but you're not comfortable speaking on other things because you're threatened, which means that you are controlled. I'm sorry that you're controlled. That sucks. I understand it. But then I have to sit back and think about the messages that you're pushing. Because if you're controlled, that means some messages you're comfortable doing so because somebody out there allows you to. So now I'm wondering, what are your intentions? Because you're allowed to speak on that topic. But these topics over here, you don't want to speak on because you're scared. So I can't trust you. That's nothing against Tucker. Because again, I want to preface, I like the guy. I do. But you have to consider all of these things and all of these factors when people are threatened and when these situations happen. Because now I have to understand that you could potentially be speaking on certain things just because whoever is allowing you to. So I can't trust you fully. And that's okay. That's okay. But I just have to put it out there that Tucker is somebody that if somebody were like, hey, bro, if Tucker was running for president, I'm like, I mean, that's cool. He's way better than Trump. But there are certain topics that you don't want to speak on because you're scared because somebody's threatening you. So these topics over here that you are pushing, my mind is running so fast, and I'm in my mind, I'm like, the entity that is threatening you is allowing you to speak on these things. So why? It's tricky.
It may not be true. And even if it is true, it could be a situation where there's much more to it than what was on those bullets. Do you have any thoughts? Not knowing what the truth is, any thoughts?
Well,
at
of
this
course,
hour?
I have so many thoughts. But I got a call about an hour ago from one of the very few people I trust in Washington and really love, and like a true friend, who said, "I bet, like everybody, you're tempted to go to dark places or focus on, you know, the violence here or what was clearly a well-planned assassination, and you should just take a break from that." And this is someone who I agree with on everything. It's not, you know, this wasn't trying to control me, but just like out of concern for, you know, me as a person, like you should focus on Charlie and who he was, and, you know, proceed with wisdom and restraint. And so that's all I'm going to say. I mean, of course, you can imagine all kinds of things, and I don't think anything is necessarily implausible. I do think that we should always, and I try to live by this, be skeptical of everything that we're presented as a pat explanation for anything. I mean, of course, you know, there's an awful lot of deception in this world, but we shouldn't allow, you know, the potential that what we're hearing is fake to convince us that it is fake before we know that it's fake. In other words, wait for the facts. But I mean, of course, it goes without saying that I would never.
I mean, I 100% agree with y'all. I mean, like most of y'all we're all on the same page, but Tucker has said plenty of times, I'm telling you, all I'm doing is holding people to the standard that they put out there for us to hold other people to. And Tucker has said it plenty of times. His own quotes: tell the truth, even if it costs you. You're going to die anyway. So then somebody comes out of nowhere and they're like, hey, you got to consider Tucker could be a little scared. He could just be a little nervous. I'm like, no, I agree. I agree with you. But Tucker's the one that tells everybody that, hey, you risk your life to tell the truth. You do it. Me? No, I ain't going to do it. You can do it, though. I feel that's just a logical mind. I don't know. Maybe I'm just tripping. Maybe I'm tripping.
Ever, after 35 years of doing this, ever accept the first explanation from anyone, and I mean literally from anyone. So, but so we'll find out. But clearly, the way that it was done with maximum violence, with the 30-06, not a 223, by the way.
I don't know guns. What does that mean?
Okay, so the 223, the 5.56, the AR-15 round, the little 22 caliber high pressure round that is, thought to be the most dangerous gun in the world and weapon of war and all this stuff, you're constantly hearing about it, is in fact designed basically to wound under most circumstances. The gun that murdered Charlie was what is often referred to by Chuck Schumer as a deer rifle. But of course, it's a much larger round. It is in fact an old-fashioned military round. It's 30-06, 30 caliber, big round. And that, people who understand guns, I mean, I guess all I'm saying without getting like sidetracked is, whoever contemplated this and pulled it off and committed the murder, had thought about it and was clearly, I'm not saying it was, I don't know who it was, but it wasn't clearly not some random guy who got mad yesterday morning and decided to do it. Obviously,
yeah, I agree with that.
There was great forethought in this. So that's all we know of it. Again, I think.
So this is September 12th, right? September 12th. Tucker says, I know it wasn't him, but that's all we know. And that's fair. That's fair. It was early. We are, what is it? 9 months? We are 9 months later. Mountains of evidence later that point to a lot of different things. It still doesn't point to a particular person who pulled the trigger or whatever happened, a bang on the microphone, whatever it is. However, we have a lot of characters in this story that are on record lying since September. A lot has happened. A lot has changed. But y'all tell me if I'm tripping. We are 9 months in, and Tucker Carlson sounds just like this still 9 months later. That's my problem. That's why I said, no, I don't think he's going to come out and all the other stuff. Tucker Carlson is just going, that's what he's just going to say. I know it wasn't Tyler Robinson, but I don't know who it could have been. I don't know. I don't know why he's silent about it. I just know that we have learned so many things since 9/10. And this is literally Tucker in July of 2026. He sounds just like this. Obviously, this video is from 9/11, but I'm saying anything about Charlie Kirk investigation that you can find on Tucker Carlson, he sounds just like this many, many, many months later, even when we have all these things that just don't align. All of these key players in the game that are very suspicious. Even his best friend, Erica. So many things have came out. Even if you want to extract all the other weird things in the outside, in her outside life, even though personally, I'm not going to be friends with anybody that's like directing traffic allegations. I'm going to need you to explain yourself. I'm not going to be affiliated with you if I find out you got some allegations going on. You need to come out and explain yourself immediately, or else this friendship is terminated, because I shall not be associated or affiliated with somebody like you. But Tucker Carlson doesn't care. But even if you extract all of those personal things that we have found out about Erica, even within the Charlie Kirk story, she has had very questionable moves and verified lies. So that's why I'm just like, you don't care about the lies that she has told that involve your friend dying? That is, am I tweaking? That is crazy to me. I don't know, bro. Like, and you know, he could be scared, but I'm just like, dog, that is bizarre. I don't know about you, brother.
You know, my life certainly over the last 10 years proves that I'm not an acceptor of the official story just because it's the official story. By the way, the official story can be right. You know, just because it's the official story doesn't mean it's a lie. But it, you know, I think
there can also be more to the official story.
Well, that's true. And part of the problem with living to 56 is you've seen so much, and I grew up around a lot of the stuff already, that you can just get lost in it, completely lost in it, you know, because you know a lot of things over time that are, you know, the truth about some things. You don't know the truth. I don't know the truth about everything. That's for sure. There are many more things I'm ignorant on than I'm knowledgeable about. However, I've seen enough and been into enough dinners where people are like, well, and you're thinking to yourself, you have no idea what actually happened, you know, and you can get into a kind of mindset.
Not for nothing, but on that front, Tucker's got a documentary out today on tuckercarlson.com on 9/11 and some hard truths we weren't told. And of course, you're going to be called a conspiracy theorist, as people love to say. But I
mean, that's what I need, though, Tucker. I need some documentaries. I need documentary would probably be a stretch. That'd probably be like in a year or two, maybe 2 or 3 years for Charlie Kirk. But yeah, this is the part where I'm like, Tuck, like, I know you like that when it comes to investigating. You're like that. You might be up there. It's tough, bro. Between him and Candace, I don't know who the better investigator. Both of them be on some other stuff. So that's why I'm like, dog, I don't need a documentary. Not yet. But can I just get like a little preview of an episode? I know you've uncovered some things, bro. But, you know, again, I'm going to just give him the benefit of the doubt and say you scared and go from there. But, and somebody said he goes based off of facts. I mean, I've heard that 1,000 times, but it's a fact that Erica has lied multiple times. It's a fact. So he doesn't go based off of facts. Maybe when it's convenient, maybe again, like when it's popular, but the idea of Tucker goes off of facts, I think only doesn't hold any weight in this Charlie Kirk investigation. We have found a lot of facts that go against the original narrative. And if it hits a little bit too close to home, and it could be similar to Candace, you know, again, I'm objective, and I definitely have an open mind. So I see all angles, and similar to what Candace said, in the Sean Ryan interview, she said how she was in denial for a very long time, and she didn't want to believe that Erica was involved. And Tucker could be the same way. Tucker could be taking it to the grave, that he just refuses to ever acknowledge that Erica is involved. Maybe, who knows? I don't know. Maybe he's gonna literally wait until Tyler Robinson goes to jail. I don't know why anybody would do that if you really feel like he didn't do it, but maybe that's his angle. So I don't know. It's interesting. But how much time left for this? I'm somebody that I can't just turn off a video when it's about to be over. I gotta finish it all. Some people just be like, just stop it, and then just I can't do that. I gotta figure out how this story ends.
I will say, just this week, Catherine Herridge, who nobody's ever accused of being a conspiracy theorist,
Nope.
has matched some of your reporting, and she's reporting it on X. So people should check it out. Obviously, he's not.
Yeah, I mean,
Tucker's not
that
here
was.
to
I mean,
promote
it
this,
doesn't
but
mean
it's
that
just
we
another
know.
example.
Well, look, I don't know. There are a million things I don't know, including what was really going on in 9/11. All we proved was that the official story was like completely ridiculously false. It doesn't mean.
Well, look at that. They just went against the whole Tucker goes off of facts. He literally just said, I don't know, but I just know the original story wasn't it. Okay, cool. So that's literally the same case with Charlie Kirk. You don't have to know, but you know the original story is not the truth. So do your thing, Tuck. Do your thing.
That I have a pat explanation for it, and probably never will, and I mean, for a million other things. But I guess what I'm saying is, I think that's super important. We need to get to the bottom of it, and to a lot of other things, including the shooting at Butler, which for some reason, still know nothing about. And you can't have a country where someone can try to assassinate the president, and then we never get to the bottom of it. Like, it can't continue like that. So we need radical transparency, just what I've been saying for years. But I do think we also need to be mindful that we are in a form of civil war right now. That's obvious. Violence is a huge component of it. You don't want it to become a bigger component of it. And what's the answer to that? And I've just been around a couple of wars, and like, I don't want that. And I certainly don't want it here. There are really no winners, and its effects last for generations, centuries, really. And so what is the answer? And the answer is to see one another as God sees us. It doesn't mean to excuse inexcusable behavior. It doesn't mean moral relativism. It means exactly the opposite of moral relativism. It means recognizing that we are created by a creator, obviously to send a message to the rest of us. And it's like, what do you say? I have nothing to say.
I know. That's how I felt.
I really believe, and I really mean it when I say this, I'm not just posing, that all of this is in God's hands. So I do believe that. Doesn't make me not take precautions or whatever. Actually, it has made me not take precautions, but I've been encouraged to take precautions anyway. So I'm not actually worried. I mean, I've had several things that I consider very, very close calls. And so over the last 20 years, so I've thought about it a lot, and I feel, I just feel sad for Charlie's family. I feel sorry for Erica in a way that's really kind of hard to express, and it's definitely not about me. And we've set up a fund for Erica and the children. I think it's going to go online in a minute. We seeded it with a bunch of money, and I hope others will follow because I think, I mean, what can you do? I mean, I don't have.
And look at that. He gave her, it was like $5-6 million. And he got booted from TPUSA anyway. They never invited him back to TPUSA anyway after giving her $5-6 million. She went on stage and talked about how hard it is as a sole provider, is what she said at that One Club America interview. She said all of these different things, man. And I'm just like, if I gave you $5 million and you on stage talking about it's so difficult being a sole provider, I might be at your door with my big envelope ready to take it all back. Because it ain't no way. It ain't no way I'm finna sit here and allow you to talk like you struggling when my $5 million that came from me just provided for the rest of your life, you and your kids' life or lives. It just provided for all of that. Me only. We ain't talking about everybody else that's been donating. We're talking about me only. Tucker Carlson's donation set you up for life. And she out here preaching, talking about sole provider issues, and it's so tough out here and blah, blah. Now, that's always going to be tough, when one parent is gone and forever. So I'm not trying to minimize that. But if I gave them $5 million, $6 million, just to get canceled from TPUSA anyway, And just for her to, I don't know, bro. That's why it's so crazy. It's so crazy.
I mean, I talk for a living. I've written a bunch of books. I feel like I'm more eloquent than average. I have nothing wise or edifying to say. You know, you stare in the face of a 31-year-old man assassinated, obviously to send a message to the rest of us. And it's like, what do you say? I have nothing to say.
I know. That's how I
just
felt
want
yesterday when it was unfolding. It was like, I wish I had some profundity to offer. It's
Yes,
hard to know
exactly.
even where to categorize this. It does feel like a
you're
before
humbled
and
in the
after
face
moment.
of it.
It
Yes.
feels like a before and after moment that we haven't seen open season on political commentators before. It does feel like it's evil incarnate, that we have to accept there's evil amongst us. You see a bunch of Christian children shot down in their school church. That's evil. There's not a lot of other words
Yes.
for it. But as with all these situations, in order to go forward, you have to look for the helpers, Mr. Rogers style. You're one of them here. JD Vance, an amazing post online last night talking about how much Charlie meant to him. And this just came in as we were talking, Tucker. The New York Times reporting that Vice President JD Vance and his wife Usha, we knew that they were planning on going and meeting with Charlie's
Yes.
family. But now it comes out that they are meeting with them, in Salt Lake City. That's what Charlie's body was brought there. And that Kirk's family and friends, as well as his casket, will then be flown on Air Force 2 to Phoenix, Arizona. This is where Charlie lived, in Arizona. According to an official familiar with the matter, Vance is retrieving Kirk's casket while paying his respects. That's extraordinary.
It is extraordinary. And I would say JD Vance is an extraordinary man. Not like any other politician I've ever met in a lifetime of knowing them. So I will say that.
Don't forget that either. Tucker Carlson loves JD Vance. So when 2028 come around, everybody knows JD Vance is a sellout, right? It has not been going well for him. When 2028 come around and y'all see Tucker Carlson promoting JD Vance, it's going to be like, yo, what's the word, bro? JD Vance was literally best buddies with Trump. Never spoke out against Trump whatsoever. Backed Trump 100% of the time. Somebody that you criticize every day, and now you're sitting here supporting him and endorsing him, probably wanting everybody to vote for JD Vance. It's great. That's why I say the politics is not for me. These folks is just I don't understand these people, bro. They so wishy-washy. Is crazy. I wouldn't be able to last in this space at all.
He talked about how
saying that, but it's true.
No, but he talked about in his post last.
That is in some ways a very triggering thing to say, and which tells you right there.
Too bad.
That it's true. Yeah. Well, it's true. And I'm not saying that to provoke. I'm saying that because I believe it. And it is the only answer, because you can see exactly where this goes. And so, you know, the one religion in the world that stands, that's the truth right there.
Yeah, I mean, JD Vance supported everything Trump supported. I mean, JD Vance backed Trump, everything Trump has ever said. JD Vance even backed when Trump was going at the Pope. And I'm not Catholic, so I don't know, you know what I mean? But JD Vance is, and it was so many like Catholics that was like, JD Vance is going to for sure speak up and, you know, say something, because that's not cool. And he never did. He actually said like Trump was just joking. And it was like, I'm like, wow, JD Vance just let everything slide. But that's also nothing new. We all know that the vice president and everybody up there, they can never critique the president. And that's going to be his downfall. He's literally the same as Kamala Harris, bro. Kamala Harris' downfall was when she said, when they was like, hey, would you do anything different from Joe Biden? And that was a tough moment, because they can't go against their party. So Kamala Harris was like, no, I wouldn't do anything different. Everybody was like, okay, why would I vote for you then? That's crazy. And it's going to be the same thing with JD Vance. Would you do anything different from Trump? No, because you can't say yes. That would be crazy. You can't go against your own party. These folks sold their soul. So, you know, he in the same boat, bro. He literally supported the war. He literally supported all this BS that's going on right now. And then somehow in 2028, they've already kind of started, if y'all realize, they're already starting to try to pretend like they're mad at our greatest ally. And they're like, they don't have any control. They put on this whole performative act, JD Vance and others. and nobody's buying it, bro. Nobody's buying it. But we gotta watch to see what Tucker does, because Tucker might support JD Vance when that time comes around. And if he does, I won't be surprised, but a lot of other people will. But I appreciate y'all for listening to the Yappisode. I'm about to get to some of y'all comments. I know I've been yapping a lot tonight. Y'all know me, when I go like a day or two without a live, I have a lot to talk about. So I appreciate y'all for listening. Don't forget to hit the like button before we get into these comments. Let me see what we at right now, where we at right now, so we can set a little goal. We always gotta have a goal in mind. We are at 223 likes, 297 watching, 55 on the TikTok family. So let's go for like, I know we can get like 240. Can we get like 20 more likes? We get 20 more likes. That's reasonable. I just liked my own video. We had 224. I think that's fair. We get 240. Let's get 240. Let me get to some of y'all comments. And again, if you're new to the channel, don't be afraid to hit the sub button. I said don't be afraid to hit the sub button. Please don't be afraid to hit the sub button. But make sure you hit the sub button if you're new to the channel. We're on the road to 25K. And I appreciate all the support along the way. Let's see what we got. Javier, thank you for supporting the channel. Charlie's Angels 47. Thank you for supporting the channel. Your ex is, I love your ex. Your ex is great stuff. Andrew covered the Charlie Kirk show for one day, then took over. Yeah, it's, man, that whole thing is weird, bro. Because they promised so much on the Charlie Kirk show, what they would bring, and it's just been straight Andrew Kolvet and Blake Neff every day, staring at their face. I don't, but every time they're the clips that go viral, it's always them two. I'm like, bro, everything that they said was gonna happen with the Charlie Kirk show has not happened yet. They haven't released these unseen videos of Charlie Kirk, or not unseen. What's the word I'm looking for? Unreleased videos of Charlie Kirk. And because that's what Erica said, it's gonna be, oh, we filmed so much, so many, so much content that people haven't seen yet. We haven't seen none of that. Matter of fact, they're protecting that content, because I'm like, hey, how about releasing the Aspen video? Right? Candace should also release it. I've been saying that already. I don't know why she's holding on to it, but Turn Point USA also should release the Aspen video. How about releasing that? The people are asking for it. Why are they not listening? The people are asking for a lot from Turn Point USA when it comes to Charlie Kirk content. Matter of fact, they started deleting content when they told us that they was gonna be releasing content. So it's some weird stuff going on. It really is. What is that? New York Firecracker. Thank you for supporting the channel. I greatly appreciate it. Let me see. Oh, y'all was yapping. Okay. Let's see. Dan is still on payroll. Dan Bongino. I believe it. Dan, and remember he said his wife is very close with Andrew Kolvet too, because of how much they organize their scheduling and all that. So like they all got affiliated. They're all associated with Turning Point USA. It's weird, man. Everybody is tied together. Stu Peters, I didn't forget about you, brother. Blake Neff used to work for you. Everybody's connected somehow. I want Stu Peters to release those messages. Stu Peters said Blake Neff texted him some crazy stuff, pressured him similar to how Charlie Kirk was being pressured. I said, wow, well, I mean, you should release those text messages then. That sounds very interesting and very relevant. Nope, never did. I tried 7 times. I mean, he's responded to one of my tweets before about some other stuff. So I mean, it's not like they never see it, but I just find it interesting on how like he didn't want to release those text messages on his own, just to be like, oh, wow, look what I found about Blake Neff. Look, everybody, Blake Neff's a weirdo. And look what he used to text me. He never said anything. Matter of fact, we just all found out for the first time ever that Blake Neff used to work for Stu Peters. And then Stu Peters admitted it, talked about those text messages, and just never talked about it again. And I'm like, what's up with everybody right now, man? Can we get somebody to help us out? Kyle, thank you for supporting the channel. It's going to be a long week of Fed slop. Bots going to go hard Monday. What's today? Friday? Yeah, they finna go crazy, absolutely. And something always goes down when Candace goes on vacation. So we are already expecting it. Let's see. Let me do this one first. The left does do 95% of the violence. Anyone with two eyes knows that, though. I don't know percentages and stuff like that, but yes, I think anybody would be a little bit oblivious if they didn't realize that like Democratic cities are very violent. Democratic ran cities are very, very violent. You know, that typically happens. Yeah. I don't know about any percents, but absolutely, I can agree with you to an extent. I call my sister yelling. Why does everyone say how blessed we are that Trump is in office? It's not all about dang Trump. Now I realize that was them saying, look the other way. Don't worry. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what's up with everybody's, faith in Trump, bro. Like once he lied a couple of times, I don't know about y'all, man. When somebody lies to me, I get so put off. And then especially when like the lie is like one thing, but then when it turns into like gaslighting too, where it's like you acting like you didn't lie to me, bro. Like why are you trying to make it seem like I'm tripping that I called you out for lying to me? And that's what Trump's been doing this majority of his second term. He was off to a great start, but something changed. Maybe the butler, and he has been gaslighting ever since and lying to everybody ever since. So it is interesting. Prelim starts Monday. I am excited. I am excited for the preliminary hearing. Or is it the preliminary trial, whichever the terminology is. But yes, the prelim does start Monday. I am excited. I'm excited to see all the evidence that is going to come forward with the Tyler Robinson case, because things are going to start getting released slowly, and we might not be able to see it for a while. Usually, they don't like release the evidence and stuff until like the trial's over. But we'll see. A lot of things get leaked, and we'll at least know what they're talking about. We might not see it physically, but we'll know what they're bringing up in the courtroom. Asking questions. I mean, if I die, don't call the police, call Candace. I'd rather have every one of my friends acting like Candace than anybody at TPUSA, including the man's wife. Absolutely. I agree with you. Candace, I think everybody could agree with that. 100% of people would want somebody like Candace to be their friend if something were to happen to you. You better keep asking questions because it's the only thing that keeps you free. Charlie Kirk said that, and absolutely, that is very true. And Charlie would probably be, based on his content and based on what I've been seeing, Charlie would probably be so upset at the way social media has changed in this last year. Truly, since like September too. It's kind of ironic. Since September and since that last back end of 2025, they ramped up their censorship. They've been banning people's pages. Like, you can't talk about certain things anymore. Like, it is ramped up. So Charlie would probably hate that, man. He for sure was somebody that was annoyed at the censorship. If the camera's card was taken down so that no one stole it, why didn't they take the whole camera? I agree with you. I don't know. I have no idea. The camera costs way more than an SD card, or does it? The SD card has some information on there that would exonerate Tyler Robinson of pulling that trigger. So maybe that SD card was worth a little bit more than that camera for that day and that day only. My discernment is on point. I knew when I first heard Erica speak, man. Shout out to you. Shout out to you, and shout out to everybody that peeped Erica's slimy and weird ways from day one, because I definitely fell for it. My discernment has gone up since then, but she had me for worst case scenario, I think like a month. I want to say only like 2 weeks, but I can't recall. She had me for like a month, worst case scenario. I had videos still up on TikTok to this day of me defending her and making multiple videos about it. So like, she had me. I am not shy or afraid to say that at all. Yeah, the SUV pictures is crazy. The truth will set you free and then straight to jail. Absolutely. That is the part that they're missing in the repentance. You tend to see that often with Turning Point USA and Erica and Andrew Cove and all of them. They tend to talk about repenting, but it's always behind closed doors, and it's never full accountability. It's never like that. It's, oh, I asked God for forgiveness of all the bad, evil things I've done, and He forgave me. He forgave me. So that means I don't have to tell anybody else. So I will never, ever go to jail. It's not how that works. Oh, look, I just said that. Erica and him repented privately. Yep. That's their version of God, whoever that is. Super weird. You repented, AK. How about I broke down because I will never see my friend again, or my friend and partner again? No one weeps for Charlie, not one. No. Alex Clark specifically asked about, whatever closing remarks he has for other people. And he talked about himself that entire time. That's the R word. If Kamala was president, we all would have been effed. And what jail time? Do research before you talk. You lost a viewer. Yes, Erica is guilty in this. Jesus is king. I never said Kamala being president, we was gonna be amazing. Never. I just said Charlie was gonna be alive if Kamala was the president. So I don't know what you mean. Jail time, I didn't bring up the jail time. Like that's not something that I randomly came up with on my own thoughts. Charlie said that himself, that if Kamala was elected, they was going to try to put him in prison for life. He said that. That is the research that you are wanting me to do. I did. I'm referring to Charlie's own words. So if sure, I guess have a good day, brother. I think Candace singles out Mikey McCoy because he seems like the weakest link. First of all, he does seem like the weakest link. Link. I do agree. I don't think he'll ever come out because everybody's scared. So I don't think he'll fall for the bait and like fall into Candace's arms with all this information or come out and admit anything because he has a wife, he has a new child. So that boy afraid. He is very. I hope CO isn't part of this whole psyop because it's definitely a huge psyop. It definitely is a huge psyop. I told y'all before I will always keep it a buck, left and right, no matter what. And at the moment, we always got to give Candace grace because we wouldn't be this far without her. I have nothing to even prove or even second guess or think like, man, maybe she's in on it. I don't know. I don't really ever have anything like that to prove it, to assume that. I do like disagree with some of her moves. Just like, and it just makes me wonder because we don't ever have any closure. So like, like the Aspen video, I've always been talking about that of like, why won't she release that? Because she is under like an NDA with Turning Point USA. So then you have to think about like, what is she allowed to say and what she's not allowed to say? But it seems like she said anything she's wanted since September, but she's still under the same NDA. But then it makes you wonder if she said anything she's wanted, then why can't she say certain things? I don't know. It's crazy. But I think where I'm at with that is it's very confusing. But at the moment, she is the only person that has this crazy insider information from Turning Point USA just because she used to work for them and she know everybody. So she has helped this investigation like crazy. So it's hard to see that side. Like I try to turn on devil's advocate side and look at both sides. But it's so hard to see that side. And obviously it would be very devastating if that were to be true. But I don't know. At the moment, I'm grateful for her work. Curious if anyone else thinks Candace may show up to the preliminary hearing, and maybe that's why she took her vacation at this time. Shoot, that'd be great. Candace in the same courtroom as Erica. Round 2. Let's see. I can't even pull up that comment. That's so tough. That's tough. Why would he need Candace to talk to a chick for him? Because he was gay? Nah, I wouldn't say that. I think he was just inexperienced with the ladies. He didn't know what to say. I don't know if you've ever been there before, if you ever had a close friend or a cousin that been there before, but I definitely have, and it's been plenty of times where the inexperienced ones just need a little bit more help. They don't know what to say. Maybe they feel uncomfortable. Maybe they're awkward. So I mean, I think that's all it was. Candace was just a wing woman, trying her best to pair up Charlie with whoever that fling was that he was chasing. Yeah, Tyler being in Romania around the same time as Erica is crazy. I don't know anybody in my life that went to Romania. Imagine like multiple people. Like imagine if Charlie was in the office and he could have known, I don't know, but imagine if Charlie was in the office and he was like, hold on. Erica, you was in Romania when? Tyler, you was in Romania when? Y'all was in Romania in the same year? In Romania? How is that possible? Y'all was in Eastern Europe, this random country in Eastern Europe at the same time? When did y'all meet? Oh, we met at maybe imagine them being like separated, right? Two separate situations or away from each other to not hear the same answer. And they're like, oh yeah, I met Tyler Boyer at the Trump rally. Blah, blah, all that. That's what Erica said. And then Tyler Boyer is like, yeah, Erica called me before the Trump rally saying, how can she help? And all this other stuff. And Charlie's like, why y'all stories don't line up? And y'all both was in Romania at the same time? What was you doing in Romania? Like, it's so crazy. If he didn't know, them dots started clicking. Them dots started connecting. A friend to all is a friend to none. Absolutely. That goes for everybody. It don't matter who. Even your favorite podcaster, your favorite politician. Hey Jay, Candace made a reference that Andrew took over and did all the hiring at TBUSA. Also, an ex-employee had mentioned that Charlie's last work communication for work mentioned the Doge review. Yeah. Yeah, they definitely hired all these people around Charlie. And yeah, the Doge review or the Doge audit, the Doge effort, we don't know if it seems like it was canceled by, I'm assuming, Erica. So, I mean, it's all crazy for sure. Charlie clearly had some type of discernment or feeling that something was off with the finances. We are yapping tonight. I didn't even realize it was 1:30. This is actually a long episode. Typically, we are wrapped up by like 1. Like between 12:30 and 1. Clearly, I got to yapping tonight. Which I told y'all. I gave y'all a heads up. Anytime we got a Yappisode after like a day or two off, oh, it's a lot to talk about. You think it's not just Tucker being threatened, but they said they will do that to his kids? Yeah, I think that, there is a part of me that acknowledges, because of how dark these evil entities are, that yeah, it's not just Tucker. I think it's Tucker. I think it's Megan. I think it's all of them. Candace, I don't know, because obviously Candace is very bold. So, I would assume she's probably on the list of being threatened, but maybe she just truly don't care. Maybe that's her calling of like, I don't care what the cost is. I'm gonna just do what I do, which is sometimes hard to believe because she got 5 kids. And I'm like, oh my gosh, Candace, I would love for you to be safe. Selfishly, I love your investigative skills, and you are amazing at that. But man, you got 5 kids. I need you to watch what you say. I don't want nothing happening to you, but I do acknowledge the fact that that's a possibility. Someone tried to get on me last episode about drinking Gatorades. It was terrible for me. Don't get me wrong, Gatorade is terrible for you. This is Gatorade Zero. I don't drink regular Gatorade. No sugar in this thing. It's some sodium, but no sugar in this thing. 5 calories. A lot of electrolytes. But I don't drink regular Gatorade. For all the people that was so concerned about me drinking Gatorade in my episodes. Because regular Gatorade is just straight sugar. Yeah, you are right. Y'all talking about the years y'all was born in? Yeah, I am 97. So I am the OG of Gen Z, the first one. Because 96 is the millennial. So we kind of it depends on the day. You know what I mean? It depends. We kind of got a taste of what it's like being millennials. We know how that go. And then we also, it's hard to claim fully Gen Z because Gen Z goes far back into some more younger kids, or they're older now. But our generation is so different. I feel like if we're talking about generations and our style and personalities and what we used to do for fun, it aligns more with the millennials. Like, I was an outside kid. We wasn't playing a game like that. Outside hooping at the park all day long. Like, if you wanted to talk to somebody, you had to see them in person. I remember the days of not having a phone. Like, cell phones didn't really it existed, but like we didn't really have one for real until I got to like middle school, high school. If you wanted to talk to somebody, you had to wait till you got to school the next day. You had to call people on your house phone. I was around when MySpace first came out, so that was brand new. MySpace, Facebook finally got started a little bit. Finally got into like 8th grade year, going into 9th grade year. Instagram was first introduced to us, and it was this brand new thing. And it was just like, oh, you just post pictures. So I remember all those days of, that's why I say we're OGs of the Gen Z, because Gen Z, man, it's hard to claim them sometimes, man. They live a different lifestyle than that I lived in. I know what it was like to come up raised by some older parents in a time where it was just crazy different than what it is now. Yo, I feel you, but he did tell that one interviewer that CK got offed for changing his views on Izzy. Yes, he did. He did. That's how I say Tucker, that he will say that, but he won't go too much further than that. But he has definitely told everybody where he does stand in general in this Charlie Kirk investigation. Didn't CK leave 50 million to CEO of TPUSA? Why wouldn't he just have left it to Erica if he was planning on her taking over? I'm not sure. I haven't looked too deep into all of that, but I'm sure he had money probably aside for her, unless, you know, Candace did drop that one episode where the whole changing the will appointment. I don't know where that ended, but that's a tough one. I don't know. I know he definitely she got millions off of him, though. Absolutely. Day one. Honestly, before she spoke, I thought, what about his kids, his wife? Then she spoke. I said, oh no, this is bad. Yeah. She got me. She absolutely got me. I fell for the okie doke for sure. I fell for the okie doke for sure. And I knew something was off, but I was like, maybe everybody grieves differently, right? Nah, she got me for about a month. They lie all the way to the bank. It's crazy. Yeah, absolutely. You're right about that. Not y'all reminiscing on MySpace. MySpace was cold when it first came out. Then the early Facebook days when folks used to be like my status. The kids don't know about all that now, man. They don't know about all of that. They don't know about, like, we ain't had no algorithm. You was only friends with who you could be friends with. You couldn't even be friends with people at other high schools. Like, there was no way to be friends with somebody else in another area. You had to meet somebody face to face to get their username and then send them a friend request and y'all be friends. There was no algorithm where somebody would post something and just because they're in your area or in your city or in your state, they just pop up on your feed. That never happened. The people that you had as friends on Instagram was the people you saw at school or the people you saw in person. You had nothing else. It'd be folks. If you saw somebody that had like 400 friends, it'd be like, how do you know 400 people? How do you have 400? You have 400 friends? You saw 400 people and got their username? It was never like that, bro. Everybody probably had like 100 to 200 friends on Instagram, and you knew all of them. And that's the only thing you saw. There was no algorithm. There was no For You page. Every time somebody posted, it was literally who you knew, and it was only the people you followed. Then next thing you know, I think I got to college, because all throughout high school was kind of the same. Like even my senior year, I don't remember, like it probably got like introduced a little bit, but I don't really remember just getting on Instagram and it's like folks from all of these different schools popping up on my For You page. I don't remember that. Like, bro, if I didn't see you at like games, like if we go play another team or something like that, I might know some folks. Like I might see somebody there and then get their Instagram. And then I think you were able to like go through people's followers then. But outside of that, it went to like college when I started finally seeing like algorithms and like, oh, you posted something and now somehow 300 people pop up that's close to you or something like that. Like it's crazy. Times have changed. Times have changed. These folks don't know about Kick. I was on Kick. Yeah, Ubu. All that, bro. Like these folks don't know, man. It wasn't no FaceTime. It wasn't none of that. We ain't had iPhones. I had the MP3 player that had the USB on the end. I had to plug it up into the computer to download music. I had to search up LimeWire. LimeWire was like the illegal thing that you could download music on, and you had to plug up the MP3 player with the over the head headphones that had the little circle ends like that. We ain't talking about like the skull candies that became popular later on. I'm talking about it was literally like a little thin little thing, and it had little circle cushions, and you used to put it right there. You used to have to download the music off LimeWire, and then walk around with your MP3 player, and it had little buttons on it, and it wouldn't show you what song it was. You didn't have a screen that said the song. You had to click forward or back until you found what song you wanted. Then we had the iPod. The iPod came around, but this was the iPod that was just a little square. Again, no screen, but it was a little bit more better. You know what I mean? Then that's when the iPod came out, when you used to like do the little, you used to do like this with the volume. You could just go like that. It was a little touch screen. That was like crazy. And we finally had the screens popping up. Then we had the little headphones finally. Bro, it was, y'all don't even know, bro. The cell phones, my first cell phone used to go like this. And I used to have to type. And when I used to type, I used to press, I had to press three times to get to the F. You know what I mean? And all like it was crazy. Then finally they came out with a phone like this, where all of this was like a full keyboard, like for your laptop. So then you type like, bro, it's so crazy, bro. Like the thought, I don't think y'all understand. The thought of a phone that we have right now not having a single button on it, I don't think y'all realize. We saw the iPhone and phones in general lose buttons every year, to the point where now our phone has no buttons on it. That was so crazy to me. I remember when the first touchscreen came out, and I was like, well, okay, that's interesting. Then next thing you know, we lose another button every year. I'm like, all right, lose another button every year. Now the entire phone, the entire face of the phone is touchscreen, and the only buttons we have is on the side. Next thing you know, the volume button and all of that is going to be touchscreen, and it ain't going to be something that you have to touch anymore. We seen it all, man. VCRs, DVDs. We used to have to go to Blockbuster to get movies and video games and all that stuff. We used to go to the store to get a Blockbuster. There wasn't no streaming. It was cable, Comcast. Nickelodeon was my channel 63. I don't know what y'all had. Some folks had DirecTV, but 63 was my Nickelodeon. But it was just different, man. We came up in a different era. So that's why I am the OG Gen Zer, because I'm the first year. But I think I more so claim the millennials, because the Gen Zers just don't get it, man. They don't get it. I feel like I'm just too old for them. They be calling me Unc and OG And I'm like, yeah, bro, like I don't vibe with y'all, man. Y'all too spoiled. Y'all had it all. You know what I mean? We ain't have it all. Like I had the big box TV. I know y'all remember that. It was no such thing as flat screens and plasmas, bro. We had the big box with the antennas. You know what I mean? If you ain't had cable, you had to get up there and play with it until you finally got one, and then you had, oh, there you go. Now you got signal. That's how it was. Like, there was no laptops either. You probably had one of them big box computers that was super slow. There was no Wi-Fi. There was no such thing as Wi-Fi. I mean, we just it was, I don't even know what it was. I don't even know what was internet back in the day. I think everything was just wired. You know, we didn't need Wi-Fi. Phones was just ran off of service. There was no such thing as Wi-Fi in the house. It was no, and we had minutes, all of that, bro. You had minutes on your phone, so you can't text too often. You only got a certain amount of texts per month. You can't make too many phone calls. You only got a couple phone calls per month. Or else you had to pay for more minutes. Then they came out with unlimited calling. Oh my gosh. That changed the game. When they came out with unlimited calling and texting, that changed the game. That was crazy. Bruh said, I'm just poor. Nah, bro, I was straight. I grew up middle-class family. Like, it was cool. That's just how life was back then. It was beautiful. I had no complaints. Life was beautiful. I'm just talking about how these kids now have no idea what it was like to grow up with no internet, no nothing. Your little crush that you had at school, your little girlfriend, any of that, little boyfriend, yeah, you would see them and only talk to them at school. You had to actually have to have a conversation. Once you left school grounds, you wouldn't see them again until the next day at school. There was no going home and pillow talking at night. None of that. You had to go to school, and that's when you saw them. And that's it. Then that's when they started coming out with, you know what I mean? Or you can go home and you got get the cell phone number, right? You slid a little note, got the note on a little sticky note, got your cell phone number. You go home, you call Shawty on the landline. That's about it. Call Shawty on the landline. You better hope your mom ain't listening on the other phone. Then that's when they started finally coming out with Voodoo. I mean, I said Voodoo. That's crazy. Uvu. They started coming out with Uvu, Skype, all these other things. And now we can finally talk to folks without being at school. And they came up with all this other stuff. So, like, it was crazy. It was crazy. It was great. Y'all got me reminiscing, man. But I appreciate y'all for listening. This is one of the longest Yappisodes. So I definitely missed y'all the way we just been yapping and talking. I appreciate y'all so much. But don't forget to hit the like button. Let's see if we hit our goal. I think we said 240. Let's see if we hit our goal. We did 270. So we definitely hit our goal. I appreciate it. Again, don't forget to hit the sub button if you are new to the channel. We are on the road to 25K, and I appreciate all the support along the way. I appreciate y'all for listening. I hope y'all have a great 4th. Make sure you turn your notifications on so you can be notified the next time we go live. Tomorrow is a holiday, or I guess today is a holiday. So everybody just go enjoy yourself. We'll probably not go live tomorrow. We'll probably be back Sunday, maybe Monday. Who knows? Just turn your notifications on so that way you can be notified when we go live. Outside of that, I hope you'll have a beautiful rest of the night. And I will see y'all on the next one.